Welcome back, guys. This is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, and this is, of course, The Real, episode 259 of GG is a Mouthful podcast. Love the enthusiasm.
Battery's down again.
That was the last bit of juice you had left in you.
Yeah, that was the 1%, the 2% before the phone started shutting down.
Oh wow! Oh yeah.
You're like, wait a minute, I still have 1%.
We need to. What is it? We need to protect the memory that we have left here. I hear you. That voice, of course, sounding like an iPhone on its very last bits of juice, is Mr. David Santos, aka Dream Twister. What is up, sir?
More like an Android. No. I'm doing good, man. I am doing good. Sorry if I sound like I don't have, like hyperventilated or out of breath, but I was in a construction zone, working on some project that my neighbor had. Actually, that we have planned. And I had to do it tonight because tomorrow I have another project with my sister. So, and I remember, of course, it is podcast night. I figured, of course, we can do this in half an hour. Sure, let's go ahead and do it real quick. We're starting the podcast. It is 1 a.m. right now,
as we speak. Yes,
it is no longer Friday. No longer Friday, and Mad Dog is still awake. No. It is late, but not that late.
Not that late. No, we made it in time, or rather, I should say, he made it in time. And so, yeah.
I have to clarify. I was waiting here.
Oh yeah, I was here all the time.
I've been waiting since 7. This mofo over here.
Real. It was about 7:30, but sure, yeah.
There you go.
No. I was hanging with the missus, Bendito, because I feel bad. This is, it is Friday night.
It is Friday night. We're taking her Friday night. Every Friday night, too. Yeah. She fucking hates me right now.
No, not at all. I actually just love her, for indulging me in my indulging us, I guess in this case, with our love for sitting around recording ourselves talking about silly nonsense, stuff that really, it's like, well. It's actually not important. What's crazy is how many times I've done something and she's just like, I'm like, honey, do you know where this thing is? And she said, what are you doing? I'm just putting some notes together for the podcast. It's just like, really? Is it that serious? And I'm like, yeah, I gotta sound like I know what I'm talking about. No,
I mean, but it's Tuesday. Why you have to? I need to plan.
Yeah. You think you just spit this out on the whim? You know what I mean? No,
that's me. I'm the one that is like, oh, wait a minute. At 6:00, it's like, oh, dude, it's podcast night. Oh, okay, what's our topic again?
Yeah. What's the topic? What are we doing? What was I doing? I forgot what I did all week.
I didn't. No.
Yeah, it's a thing.
What you don't know is that this is your missus Friday night. So actually, you are giving her a break to relax and enjoy, and no tener que estar soportándote las pendejas, stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. She so she's for some reason she decided to watch all of the Mission Impossibles. She was only able to find the first 4 within the numerous services that we have. You know what I mean? So we got to 5, which is a Rogue Nation. Wow. She's like, hey, you have a YouTube, right? And I'm like, the paid service. Like, yeah. It's like, oh, it's available there. Can I log in? So I'm like, yeah, I'll not give her my log. I'm like, why do you have that? I think you have this already. Why are you not using this? So I log into the thing, and then she goes, oh, she thought, I guess she just assumed, because the way it's presented, it's like, oh, you can watch this if you have the service. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure you can do it without the service, but whatever. I was like, I'm thinking in my head, there's no Prime or Netflix thing in YouTube that that has free available stuff. They just everything's rent or whatever. So it turned out it's exactly what it was. And she was so bummed, and I was like, I got you, honey. And I just rented it for her. And then coming out here towards the end of the workday, she's like, so I guess I'll be out here and I guess I'll watch the next one. And I'm like, oh, is it? And I go, oh, is it available? And she goes, no, I'm going to rent it. So I was like, I can't argue. If you're going to let me do this, go ahead, rent whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly.
It's on my PayPal. I don't care. We'll figure it.
That's the arrangement that I have over here. It's like, yeah, rent whatever you want, and it's like, okay, this movie it hasn't been released on theaters yet. It's like $20. I'm like, no.
I've done that a few times. Not gonna lie. I'm looking at one now too. I'm like, but I'm waiting for it to be my turn. Like, hopefully, between now and then, it becomes just a rental. So like, just a regular old.
You're just gonna push it back.
I'm dying to see it though. This is a movie called Minari. Anyway. That's nothing.
It's $20 worth.
It probably is. I think it is, but I don't know. Anyway, that's beside the point. But yeah. So I feel bad, but at the same time, I got wine because she I guess just not feeling beer, and I was like, all right, I got you, honey. We'll get some wine. So we got some red wine, and
I'm feeling
so she's
you're getting old, bro.
I know. So she's out there just relaxing, watching her movie with some wine, and I'm just like, at least I can provide something in the meantime while I'm over here with you, just jabbering away about fucking Sony and their dumbass shit. You know what I mean?
Things we do for love.
Yes, well said. Well, guys, if this is your first time listening to the show, first off, allow me to thank you and also invite you to goodgame.rocks. Takes you right to our Facebook group. And of course, you want to join the conversation there, just join on in. It's a very simple process, not a lot involved. Just a simple question.
You just go to the website, you register, and then we're going to check when the vaccine is ready. We're going to call you, and then you come in, you get your vaccine, and you go.
And then you're in. Yeah. It's very simple. And of course, that's what everybody's getting. The T virus. It's the G virus you really have to worry about.
The G virus
was the good one. Anyway, again, what we normally do, guys, is first we go into what we have been up to, move on into various news items, which we have chock full today, and then finish with our hot topic of the week. This week's hot topics.
Hot topics.
What is the deal with Sony?
What are you talking about, bro?
It wasn't a pick. So anyway, letting go of the Seinfeld references for a moment. Guys, I don't know if you've noted. I am, first off, I'm not a platform agnostic, although I want to be. I'm still weighing my options and waiting for a really good reason to jump onto to Xbox, but it's coming. I know that reason's coming soon. So, but the reality is, I also am frustrated as what the hell Sony is doing. I feel like they have, and it's been ongoing. Like doing my notes, I have realized this has gone back a little bit now. You know what I mean? It's easily been 2 years or close, maybe a year and a half, where it's like a bunch of question marks start happening. And those question marks have led to these question marks more recently. And of course, we'll get into more in depth about it later. But my point is to say, I have concerns. And I think Sony is in for a rude awakening if they are not aware of what the hell's about to slap them in the ass.
You're putting them on call. It's like, no, listen, guys. If you don't get your shit together by the next holiday season, I'm switching to Xbox. I'm buying an Xbox Series X. All right, it is serious. I will do it.
I mean, yeah. You joke, but I'm just like, yeah. I mean, at least the Series S. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, I won't get it at the full. I get it at 1440. Okay, you know what I mean? That's fine. I'll do it that way. So I don't know.
1440p. No, or just wait for a price drop. Or if anything. I mean, I don't think we're gonna have a price drop.
Yeah, that's gonna be a while for that.
We're not gonna have a price drop this year, guarantee. I mean, we barely have consoles. That's the issue.
I was gonna say they're literally what are they? $800 on average on freaking eBay and
In
shit.
order
So
for the price drop to happen, some console drops needs to happen, and
exactly,
unfortunately, we haven't
that's
had
not happening
some of
anytime
those.
soon. Unfortunately,
No. And when they do, they put those outrageous bundles that it's like, oh, it's you have to you either bite the bullet at $800 and get a pair of headphones you didn't want, which or three controllers because why not?
yeah, that's how they get. It is how they get rid of unnecessary, not unnecessary,
Inventory.
but surplus items. And
City
so
cleaners.
yeah,
They give you a city cleaner if you need
yeah,
one.
the new camera, which I don't think anybody's even buying. So
Subscription to Game Pro. So.
Game Pro, dear Lord, raised from the dead. Game Pro comes back.
That's how all of our inventory they have. They still have.
So we still have the the 2007 issue
Man,
of
Game
this.
Pro. I
Me
miss.
too.
The internet. See, here's for all the wonderful things that the internet has brought us. It has also taken away a lot of things that we used to love. Like in the Game Pro, having the magazine, having a video game magazine. There was not some like BS, just pure market. Well, actually, they kind of all were. But
Yeah.
back in the days, we were eating that up because we were
Because we
kids.
didn't know. We didn't look at it as marketing.
Better,
Yeah. We just
Somebody
looked at it as,
might-
cool stuff.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
every page has all this cool whatever.
An Electronic Gaming Monthly magazine will be the size of a Sears catalog during holidays,
Oh my
and
God.
you'll be glad. You're so happy. I would collect them. I had a closet full of EGMs. Thanks to my friend Alex from Puerto Rico who had a subscription. I didn't have a subscription, but he will just read them and then like where he was done with it, pass them out, and
Yeah.
I would collect them like if they were pieces of literature from
Like the Jedi text.
yes, like this exactly.
That's awesome.
Exactly. And then 2015 came in, and I discovered AOL, and then my life.
2015.
2015, 2000, no, 1995. Jesus.
Oh my God.
1995. Yes, I discovered the internet in 2015.
And the internet is only 6 years old, guys. I mean,
I was the only person on dial. I'm the only person on dial-up.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I remember. So I remember having a lot of Nintendo Powers. I remember having.
Power.
Yeah.
The
I remember
Final Fantasy
having.
Strategy Guide was my first Nintendo Power. The Final Fantasy Strategy.
The Final
Guide.
Fantasy 7.
No, the Final Fantasy.
The Final Fantasy first one. First one.
Yeah.
First one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because Final Fantasy 7 was not on Nintendo, so
Oh,
it wouldn't be figured on Nintendo Power.
I remember it must have came to EGM. But they had this spread for Final Fantasy 7.
Oh,
the original,
I bet.
when it came, well, like it was on its way out. It was coming out. It was imminent. It was like a few months away, and they had this massive spread, dude. That game, like I told you, that game got me into RPGs. I can't even say I dabbled in RPGs. I like dipped my toes into RPGs before that.
Yeah.
And then there I just like leaped. I was like right into the deep end. And just fell for that game. But yeah, I remember that magazine. There was another one at PlayStation Monthly. I remember but I was because they had the demo. Remember demo discs?
The demo disc.
They always had demo discs.
Yep.
That was why I got that. But anyway,
it was almost EGM, Game Pro, and I feel like there was a third one, but it wouldn't have been that important. I mean, aside from Nintendo Power, that is.
Yeah, something that was more agnostic. I can't think of the other one, but yeah, I'm sure there was another one. EGM. Electronic Gaming Monthly. The Game Pro. Fuck. Not Game Informer, because Game Informer came in later.
No, Game Informer, yeah, and they're still out there.
Yeah.
We're talking about the defunct ones. No, there was one that it was always very good with the graphic, the presentation, the graphic of the first of all, the magazine themselves were made they're almost like books, I would say, and so they were always neatly made. They always had like very beautiful art style, everywhere. Everything was very like high tech computerized, and I can't remember for the life of me the name of it.
I'm looking it up here. Game Pro, EGM, the ones that keep popping up here.
magazine from the. I promise you guys, we're gonna go into the normal stuff. We have to remember
Yeah,
now.
yeah. I remember Tips and Tricks. Remember that one? I remember Tips and Tricks.
No, I don't remember. I don't remember that.
No, what the hell's wrong with you, man?
Tips and tricks.
Tips and Tricks. That was a good thing. Let me see.
You
Hold
sure
on.
that's not a Playboy competition?
I mean, it could have a spinoff. I don't know. But,
Next Gen. Was one called Next Gen?
Oh, Next Gen. Let me
Next
see.
Gen magazine.
Gen.
Next Gen magazine archive. Next Gen magazine archive.
Yeah, Next Generation magazine. Yep,
Next Generation. Yep. There you go. Nintendo sent the link to the past, and it's showing.
They have Virtual Fighter. Remember Virtual Fighter?
Virtual Fighter. Yep. Final Fantasy 8.
Old school Lara Croft. Nice. Okay.
Old school Lara Croft. Yeah.
Nice. Anyway, I guess with that, sir,
we should make a topic of the week of related to
the old video game Max.
Yeah. I wonder. I just don't remember a lot of it, but man, they were part of my childhood. Like definitely.
Ditto. I used to have. I didn't have like a huge collection, but it was like I think I had like maybe a good milk crate or two amount that I can have, and then I remember that for a long time they just sat there, you know. And I was just like, and I was like, I got to do something with these, and I ended up I mean, I recycled them for the record. I didn't throw them out, but I was just like, I got to do something. And then you look at them, I was like, they're cool and all, but how often am I going to go back to these, you know? And they were taking up space. So I mean, so that's
There was something about there was something about having access to that because that was remember there was no internet. Yes, kids. There was a time when there was no internet, believe it or not, and all that information we got was from the magazines and from editors and people like Sushi. Remember Sushi X from EGM? That every time you wanted to hear like a hot rumor, it was like the Sushi X corner. Oh, I don't remember if that's what it was called exactly.
I think so. It sounds sounds familiar, but
whenever you hear some crazy rumor, it was always him. You know what? You like documentaries? I bet there's something written about something made about him because he was was the not the Jason Schreier, I wouldn't say, because now it's kind of sad that what we focus now is on the tepid or the disgraceful ways of the gaming industry and the way they treat the people that work for it. But back in the day, it was all about the excitement of all the next generation consoles, of what's to come on the newest and latest game, or how to beat this game, or find secrets and whatnot. And Sushi X had a lot of like intrinsic information, like really cool stuff. That was a part that you will immediately go to. I think that's how I discovered that Street Fighter 2 was getting made, or Street Fighter 89. I think is what it was called, something like that. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I remember those. Good times. Really good times. Yeah, I think we'll put that on the docket for the future. I think so.
Yeah,
I think it deserves its time in the in time.
We need to bring back game magazines.
I agree.
GG magazine was never made. We should take care of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's first time for everything.
All right.
All right, sir. I guess it's time. Let's get into what we have been up to, Mr. Dream Twister.
Yes, sir.
What you been doing?
Well, funny you ask. I actually finished Outriders.
What? A game that has no end? Ended?
The game that has no end ended, but it has no end because it's one of those that is meant to open up a new section now where you get to do stuff and play to find new loot and just the end. What they call the quote unquote end game. I'm not gonna lie. I did not dislike this game. I had a good time with it.
Did not dislike it, so that means you.
I liked it. Well, I can't say I did not dislike No, no, no. I can't say like I didn't love it,
Okay, fair enough.
but I didn't. I liked it a little bit. It was all right.
It was a
It was
fair game,
exactly
right?
what it
It was
needed to.
fair. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was exactly what it needed to be. Um, it is not. I mean, the game is not polished, unfortunately. Uh,
As is the standard
polish,
with a
not
lot of these. Yeah.
polish, polish. Uh, and some no, but I feel like even after they do, you still see that it is like I mentioned last week. It is a B tier game with a B tier story, with a B tier cast. Like everything just feels like it's meant to. It almost feels purposeful, but you know that they weren't shooting for that. They might later on say like, "Oh yeah, no, that was what we were shooting all along." It's like, no, you weren't. You just couldn't pull out a AAA production value here, so
Wow.
you kind of had to. But a lot of people, like a lot of reviews, they rag it on the story a lot, and I didn't think it was half bad. It was not. I mean, it was not. I wouldn't even say that it was not. It was something new. It was kind of ridiculous in some things. Um, it's just that for what it was trying to do, and for this type of game that this game is, I will give it at least credit for the effort. I appreciate the fact that they brought us a complete story. It doesn't seem to like it does leave the door open for expansions and whatnot, but it doesn't overtly leave things hanging just so that
Gotcha. Part
you
two
have to
coming
wait for it.
soon.
Exactly, like it doesn't do that. Like it gives you your story. I still enjoy quite a bit the 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 loot system on it, mainly because it always felt like it was like nothing felt throwaway or unnecessary. You're always equipping something that either made you look cool or was effective, um, which is I feel like it's a thing that a lot of these looter shooter games of late they struggle with uh, being able to realize, where the loot is just like 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 it doesn't matter, like
Mm.
there's no sense at least here. If you have a gun that had a decent set of skills on it, you're going or mods actually is what they call decent set of mods on it, and you like it, you like using it, you can level that up all the way to top tier. You can bring it with you throughout the entire game,
Oh, okay.
if you
I
like.
kind of dig that. That was always
So
my
yeah,
issue with a lot of these games, where it's like you get attached to a gun and suddenly it becomes, completely outdated or whatever. It's like it's
yeah,
useless at this point. I'm like, well, I like the way it looked. I like the way it shot. I like, all these little things
yeah.
about it. And then you have no choice but to move on.
But you over
Um,
leveled it, so now like a green, level 15 will do better than a legendary level 10.
yeah,
And what is a legendary level 10 anyway? Like it,
yeah.
the division makes it work because it has they give you a legendary at level 1.
Oh,
I go when you pre-order if you pre-order the game, they give you a legendary. Everybody's like, oh, you get the legendary dog, whatever. It's like fucking level 1 gun or rifle or whatever it is, and you're quickly gonna outlevel that in a couple, in a couple of level ups with a green or a blue.
mhm.
It's like what's the point? So what I'm trying to say is that at least the RNG in this game, it's interesting, um, and and yeah, man, the story,
Cool.
like I dug it. It's
Like
not
I told
it's
you, I
not
love the way
great.
I
It's
love, I
not.
love the way it started.
Mhm.
It really had me going. Um, again, I only played the demos for anybody who missed that from before, but I love the way it started up. It really had me going. You know what? I love to see this in a movie, man. What a setup, you know.
Yeah,
Like this would be
yeah.
so good. But yeah, obviously, shortly after that, you start getting into the actual, meat and potatoes of the game, and it's like, okay, so we're back to that.
Yeah, it doesn't feel it. The premise starts like something that you might be interested in seeing in a movie, but definitely the meat and potatoes of it is like, nah, thank you, I'm okay.
Yeah.
It's you accept it like I said, like I accept it because I'd rather have that than nothing, and
Mhm.
at least I felt invested on what I was doing, And there were some moments that you could just tell that if they would have actually gotten that, those uh that presentation polished that little bit better, they would have been they would have been very nice.
Mhm.
Nothing screamed epic, nothing screamed like crazy, like oh my god, nothing's gonna blow you away, but you could tell like it's almost like Gears of War in a way. I
Yeah.
feel like Gears of War it's well they're excellent game. They're a hell of a lot better more polished and better production values, but also I feel like their stories are not particularly spectacular in any way. It's just hey, it's they keep you invested. You're not just skipping. You're not just skipping because they're dull or dumb, but they might be a little bit dumb. But at least you're paying attention to them,
Okay.
and that's the same thing. That's the same thing here. So yeah, and then so I beat it with Chaos. I was playing with Chaos, and I jumped into at least one of the missions that they got. So the game opens up into expeditions, and in these expeditions that you go out once you they're every mission is timed. I believe the faster you clear it, the better gear you get at the end. But don't quote me on that because I only did one expedition. I just noticed that the time was ticking,
Mhm.
and they could get difficult if you're not properly geared. But again, you should be by that time. At least you should be decently geared. And while you're in the frantic fight, it's you're having fun. It's fun, especially if you're playing with someone else. You're having fun. Like, uh,
Yeah, that's usually the appeal. You know what I mean? When you're with your peeps.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Makes sense.
it's strange because in games where story is pivotal, like I would not like I don't want. And this is just me. I don't have anything against people that like to play co-op, but if it's a game that I'm very interested in the story, uh, I can't have someone else talking to me, like especially when you're in the middle of cutscenes. And luckily, we have a pretty good system, and you experience it because you were talking at one point and I
And
fell
I
back.
got told to shut the fuck up.
We kind of shut you up. It's like cutscene, cutscene.
Did you guys? So here's a question: did you guys say cutscene at some point earlier than that I just missed? Because I was
Uh,
just like, I'm pretty sure
I
that
just I don't like saying it. That's my problem. I don't like saying it too much because I don't want to sound like an asshole. Like shut up.
no, no, no,
So
because that's
I didn't
yeah.
say it. So if he probably didn't say it either, and it was already in the middle. But I was hoping that you would shut the fuck up.
Well, you see, now that
So you
makes
can't read
you the
minds.
ass
So
because if you would have said something, that'd have been like, oh,
I know.
I
But
got you.
hence I want to show you that's my problem. I'm too polite to tell you to. Yo, can you mute yourself? Although
Yeah,
at one point, I guess Miss River had the
the
TV
TV.
loud
Yeah, yeah.
loud enough where it was like I was trying to get the cutscene with the dramatic music and all that, but all I hear is like whatever shows this is. So I literally tended to telling Kale, "Hey, Kale, can you mute yourself?" I know that makes me a shitty player, but trust me, that's the reason I don't do a lot of multiplayer because
No, no. There's no. That's the reason why I've because I'm the same way. And to be fair, if I'm playing a single player game, like for instance, I will never do that while playing The Last of Us 2. There's just no way.
right, no,
Because every little bit of Last of Us 2, I need to like really get into.
You're immersed into the world, you know.
Correct. And the same can be said with other games. I just bring up Last of Us as an example, but Ghost of Tsushima, The Witcher, these games you immerse yourself. I want nothing, no one. Goodbye.
Right.
Yeah.
But
there are other ones where it's like, okay, this isn't that big of of something I need to be consistently paying attention to. So when I play those, and when I played those games, it's like, okay, like I was playing Sekiro, and I played with a group at that point, and I think I even caught some video of it, and you can hear the group, but I'm just like, I'm fighting. I'm not even listening to them. It's like all into the fight. But I like the system that these guys have, where you say cutscene, y todo paran. It's like, okay, everybody stops. Like, okay. So it's a sign of respect, and I respect them. Real quick before you go on, I just wanted to say real quick, shout out to Dark. He fortunately,
yes,
is under the weather. I don't know if he wants me to shout out what's going on, but he's not doing too well. So I'm just wanted to say here, man, shout out to Dark. We're praying for you. Love you, and hopefully you get better soon.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. We need our full squaddy. We need our squaddy back
sure.
with us. Yeah. I one of the things I did when I finished the game, I was like, I wrote it dedicated to Dark, 1980 or 1990X, whatever was it, and to infinity.
Nice.
And then he was like, I wasn't born in 1990, and I was close by 1 year, like. Mind you, I've never met Dark in person. I've only seen like pictures of him. I was very close to guessing his age, or at least his year of birth. Anyway, going back to Outriders, I feel like this is something that I would not. This will be my Tuesday game. Tuesday is the days that I get to play with Chaos and Dark, and we were doing a lot of division. Now I'm glad that that we're playing this for now, at least until we get sick of it, kind of like we got sick of the division. And and now I'm ready to do some more expeditions. And dude, I downloaded the demo on PC because I wanted to try to see how this game felt, and I was kind of happy with the way. I wouldn't say happy with the performance per se. I have a pretty beefy machine, so I know that I can run it well enough. But I know that this game has been, especially a lot of reviews have pointed out that it's not really well optimized. So even with my machine, I was experiencing some sections where it was slowing down a little bit, never below 60 or anything like that. I'm just saying that this is Unreal Engine. Anything should run on Unreal Engine by now.
Sure, yeah.
Why are you chugging? And
that's optimization, though, like you said. So
and I feel like the game. I how I told you that I had a little bit of a problem with how the shooting felt on. Like I didn't particularly like the way the shooting, moving actually left to right when shooting felt.
The strafing.
The strafing. Because I felt like on the gamepad, it felt like it had some sort of like acceleration, which was completely needed. Yeah. Well, playing with keyboard and mouse, I had a chance to test it out a little bit, and it definitely feels like a better experience moving, playing with keyboard and mouse. But the game crashed, and I was like, well, of course. And I'm not even gonna with this. It's like, oh god, come on, guys, this is Unreal. And mind you, I don't think I've ever seen an Unreal game crash. So seeing that, I was like, oh god, so this game wasn't even, I'm not saying, you know what, it could have been worse. It could have been Cyberpunk. All right, and this was not Cyberpunk. This was definitely playable from beginning to the end. It had some hiccups, indeed. Yeah, I get that. but it makes for a complete experience. The same cannot be said about Cyberpunk or when it was released originally, especially for people that were playing it on original console. Uh, Now it's still up for debate.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I'm gonna go ahead and give my final score to Outriders now that I've been able to experience from beginning to end. Um, I'm gonna land it honestly at okay.
Oh wow,
What's
this
the
is on the fly. Okay,
what's that? What's a because I'm gonna land it at a three. I'm gonna land it
it is good.
it yeah. Because 2.5 will feel a little rough on it. What's our 2.5? What does it say?
The 2.5, if I'm not mistaken, is mediocre.
Mediocre. Yeah, I wouldn't see. The game feels like in a lot of areas is kind of mediocre, but
Yeah, I was gonna
honestly,
say your description
I
describes mediocre for the
yeah,
record. Yeah.
yeah. But I couldn't
But
say.
fun factor should be included.
Yeah, exactly. At the end of that, like, do I say, I'll go out and spend $60 on it? Ooh, actually, you know what? You're really gonna have to be looking for this experience. Like, if you like looter shooters, yeah, without question, you'll enjoy it. You'll get something out of it.
Mhm.
But if you're looking for like the next, I don't even know. It's not, I wouldn't even put it next to Destiny or Division or like any of those or Diablo 3 or um any of those next to it because it
Doesn't
doesn't feel
add up
like
to
it's
it.
there. It doesn't
Yeah.
feel like I do appreciate. I still say I do appreciate the fact that there's no marketing bullshit like
Oh,
microtransactions
microtransactions stuff.
and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I can appreciate it. I appreciate that. Until they do it, Square Enix, we're keeping an eye on you. Nah, they're fine. They're fine.
Coming in May. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, so you know something? Okay.
Uh, no,
I know
I
that
don't know.
Square Enix likes to make money.
I know, as do all of them, man. Let's be real.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
I wonder how this game has done because I mean it's definitely a success. I don't have that. I just wonder like to what
It's funny you should
level.
mention that. I have a news piece for our news segment on that, so I
Oh,
will
okay.
more to come on that one.
All right. We'll talk about that then. Bring it. That's all.
Oh,
That honestly, that's I didn't watch anything. It's kind of a busy week for me. So
nice, nice.
yeah.
So for me, I have the entire week has been when it comes to gaming has been about nothing but Disco Elysium. I've had some highs and lows in the week when it comes to it,
Oh,
because I was all praised the first two times I brought it up, and then this week I've realized that I've been stumbling upon. So one, I stumbled upon a couple of bugs in the game, and
yeah.
then in doing so, realized that I had already been stumbling on a couple bugs, just didn't know they were there. so,
Oh, that's
so
even worse.
that is even worse. So, and to be fair, in the defense of the game, there has been some hot fixes that have gone in, and they have cleared up a lot of them. But before that happened, it was in jeopardy
Mm.
whether I was going to continue playing, because I
Ooh.
was just like, I think so because of the way the story is told. You
Ah,
can pretty much go anywhere and talk to people and try to get things going, but you don't know which ones are connected to the main story,
ah.
and you don't know what's being blocked off from you until you wander upon it. The story is so intricately woven into this. I don't know. It's like it's literally knives out the game when it comes to the
Oh,
mystery behind what's been going on. And
that's high
um
praise.
I still love, I mean, the game still is excellent when it comes to its dialogue and the writing. um
Mm.
but yeah, well, there was a couple. So there was one. I won't go into any spoilers here, but there was one particular, and I think it's a side mission. The side mission required me to find something, and I knew where it was because I finally found the person that needed whatever. And it's back in the. So there's like sand hill that you can highlight as something you can grab, but you can't put your cursor on it to grab it, and so you can't interact with it at all. And so I'm just going, am I doing something wrong? What the hell? This is weird. Okay. Then I'm like, well, maybe I need something in order to get into, you know what I mean? Because it's also that kind of a scenario. It's like, well, maybe I need something on me. Maybe I need to up a stat or something. I mean, I don't know how heavy this sand is, but I mean, so I put it off like, all right, I'm gonna just move on. Then I started doing this other mission, which was, again, I think it was a side mission. I'm sure it was a side mission. And it had me essentially conversing with somebody regarding something. It was here's the sad part of it is how powerful the story was that I got, and part of the story had, so this is very slight. I had to, as a cop, I had to do something or basically give bad news to somebody, right? And because my cop being a drunk and completely forgot what he had to, you know what I'm saying? It's like, he's not sure. Your partner is even like, so here's what we're going to do. We're talking it over before we do it. And we go in, and on a roll, I hit it. I get green. And it had a low percentage for the record. It had like a 42%, and I hit it. I'm like, nice. Okay. And dude, this conversation felt like, you know, heart wrenching and everything. Just felt like the music was going with it. And I was like, oh man. And then we go to walk outside, and my partner goes, you know, let's go ahead, let's leave her alone. Let's talk outside. We go to talk outside. It loads to go outside, and then the world crashes. Oh. You know, so my characters are alone in a dark, like you've seen games where like the background doesn't load and it's just a character standing there. It's just a black screen. Yeah. So of course, the type of game it is, because I thought I died at one point. I didn't. It became part of the thing. So I'm like, oh, this is, so I didn't have to restart it. This was part of it. You know what I mean? So I had restarted and not realizing, you know, so at that point I started, yeah. At that point I started going, okay, so anything and everything's possible in this game. So let me not assume whatever. So again, here I am going, oh, did we enter something? Is something going on? You know, and I'm moving around and nothing. There's nothing to interact. I can't interact with him. I can't interact. Like, what the hell? So of course, had to reload. Luckily, it was only 15 minutes of stuff I had to redo, but it included that conversation again. And of course, I don't hit the roll the second time. Okay,
that's what I wanted you to make sure that it's understood, that the roll system.
The roll. Okay, so there is certain, everything's based on conversations, and generally on a particular stat that can be endurance, it can be conceptualization, it can be your own concepts. You know, there's each. I'm trying to think of ones that they're so big, different names. I can't. Physical instrument. So in this particular one, it was empathy, right? And so I needed the in order for me to deliver this message to her, I needed to roll on empathy. And what that basically means is you're going to take a chance, and it'll tell you what the percentage is of you getting it. Now, depending on your stat level of empathy, you know, the chance is higher, right? And so 75 and up, chances are you're going to hit it. You know what I mean? Not always, though. I have had a 78 and go bad. I'm like, what? Yeah. So my empathy was not very high. I didn't have a point you can also, right before you try to roll, you can also put points to that particular stat. So it does allow you a chance to do that if you want to up it before rolling it. And then the rolls work in this particular way. There's red rolls and there's white rolls. Red means you only are going to have this chance once. Not going to have a chance ever again. You know what I mean? Wow. A white roll is you can miss it and still come back later and try to roll it. A particular instance for white rolls, I'm trying to open something. I don't have the physical strength or an item. And, you know, so it has me at like 17%. which you're going to miss most of the time. But if you miss it, you can come back later with an item. Your percentage will be higher, or you can add points to your physical strength, and your percentage will be higher. So it lets you re-roll essentially.
Gotcha.
This was a red roll. My conversation with her, for the record. And so again, 40-something%. I hit it the first time. It was a wonderful conversation, and I got like completely pulled out of the game when the game fucking did that. And then I did it again, and it did not do it. And I still went back and I loaded into a black screen. So it just kept doing it. And I literally did it over probably about 5 times.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, it's not letting me pass this. Now, granted, it was a side mission. You know what I mean? So it wasn't important to the game, but it completely disillusioned the game to me. I was like, oh my God, you got to be kidding. And then at that point, I started looking stuff up. And that's when I realized, oh, I've been having issues and just not realizing it.
Which that's because now you don't have confidence in the game. Like, okay,
exactly.
Is this happening because the game was designed that way, or is it happening because it's having a fucking seizure now?
Yeah, exactly. So again, a fix has gone in. Back to the other thing. I was able to get around it without the fix, like before the fix ever came out. And that was because what I did is, since it was a side mission, I left it in the side. I undid it, right? I reloaded back again so I can just come back to it later, basically. And did something else, came back or whatever, did something else, and then went back. So let me go try this thing again. Missed it again. But this time it loaded when we walked out of the apartment. I'm like, fucking hell. It only hit it once, bro. And it was like I wish I had recorded it, because I was like, wow, this was a really powerful moment in the game. And so yeah, oh God. Anyway, so that all said, the fix came in, and I'm still playing it. So
okay, so they released a patch then for it recently.
Yeah, they released a patch probably Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And so maybe a little earlier than that. I don't remember. I think it was maybe earlier than that. But they released a patch. And when I released the patch, I went, okay, there's a patch. All right, well, good. And went right to the fucking sand hill, and boom, I was able to fucking do it. I was like, oh, shit, okay, so they fixed that.
Finally.
And I didn't check any of the other things because I already passed them. So I was like, well, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. But that all said, that, as much as a bummer as that is, I still am enjoying the game. And and that's a testament to the game, because that type of shit frustrates the hell out of me. You know what I mean? I usually just give up. I gave up on Cyberpunk. I was done. Like, no, I'm out. Fuck that. And I tried Cyberpunk how many times? That's a testament to how much I want to play Cyberpunk, that I have tried it 3 times, and just each time I don't get so far, and something again pulls me right out. I'm like, nope, out. And here, it was something similar, and I still kept going. I still kept on chugging along, because the story and the writing are just immaculate. You know what I mean? It's unprecedented. It's just unreal how good the story is. So I'm pretty sure I'm close to the end, just based on where I am in the mystery of all things. I'm like, okay, I think I'm pretty close to the end, but I'm gonna just keep chugging along on it. Probably won't say much other than probably get in the future, other than probably get my final score. I don't have one now. I haven't really even thought about it. Unfortunately, it's gonna get knocked because of what happened. I'm sorry. I was just really pissed off. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. But it is what it is. You want to release shit like that, then fuck y'all is what I can say. Not for anything. This is if you've seen any of the gameplay, this is not a taxing game, guys. This is not.
I was gonna say you could have actually. I could have actually. This could have been a game that you could have played on your
my cell phone
laptop.
Yeah, or me
on your laptop, definitely. Hook it up to the TV, and there you go. You have the. Oh, actually, I don't know if it. I don't know if it handles gamepad. To be honest with you, I haven't tried it. I have to
It's
test
okay. The game doesn't. The game. You can. I mean, it's not anybody who can play this on a
It's a
fucking
click.
mouse. Yeah, it's a click. It's a
Yeah,
click.
it's
Click.
a point
Point
and
and click.
click.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not. It's not like you need to have like really good reflexes or anything with it. But overall, it is. Oh, thank you. Overall, it is. I mean, it's going to be affected by that. And I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, I still say they should have. It's the final cut, and I get it. They included new stuff, but you got to be able to QA your shit. You know what I mean? Because otherwise,
Yeah, that's a game. I mean, you never heard about it having that those issues. And to be fair, I wonder like is this only out on PlayStation or is it out also on
it is
on
out
Xbox?
on. Oh, by the way, it is on your phone. It's on the Apple Store. It is
It
on
is?
PlayStation. Yeah, I told you. I was like, if you can run this shit on your phone, I wasn't joking.
I thought you were. I think you're like, come on, man. Yeah, don't say you. Although
No, I
phones are
mean,
quite powerful.
I
So.
didn't know that it was on the phone when I said it, but
Uh,
I'm sure just playing it. I'm going, you can run this on your phone. This is just. I'm
oh,
like, phones nowadays can do this. You know what I mean?
oh, well, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought you literally just. I thought you confirmed there was a phone version. I'm like,
No, I
really?
confirm now that I'm looking at it because I'm at the site and I was like, oh, it does say it's a download on the App Store. So I confirmed that now. But
Oh,
when I
it is.
first said it was running on the phone, I didn't know. I was like, I was just assuming.
There you go,
Because,
vindicated.
yeah. So I feel good about it now. Yeah. It
Yeah.
is on Stadia. And
It is a Stadia.
it
Yeah,
is on
yeah.
Stadia. And it is on the Epic GOG. No Xbox or Switch.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So this is okay. So this is a console. Okay, so this must be a still consoles nowadays are pretty much PC. So what the hell?
Optimization, dude. That's all it is. They just picked
Yeah.
it up, lift it, put it back into whatever, and they try to smooth out the edges, and maybe they should
Yeah,
just make
guys.
them a little bit longer. You know?
We don't mean it literally. You still have to like port it. You
Yeah.
know, don't just grab it from Steam and throw it in the PlayStation Store. It
I
doesn't
mean,
work
yeah,
that
the
way.
architectures are close, but still, you got to do a little bit of
Yeah.
cleaning up. Come on, guys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
So a couple questions.
yeah,
First off, do you think that maybe the reason you didn't just rage quit on this game was the fact that you have played so far already, even sections that you didn't know were bugged, because of the type of
well,
game it is?
I mean, I have walked away from games at the very end, so it wouldn't be the first. but,
Yeah, I guess that's
but
point well made.
but no, I really think it has to do with because here's another again testament to the game. There's a lot of wandering. There's a lot of okay, who do I go to talk to? Luckily the area is not very big, but who do I go to talk to? What do I need to say? There's a lot of that going on. So I'm having conversations with people that I've already had, only because I'm looking to see if they're a new strain that I'm not seeing, There's a little bit of that. What I have learned is you really, especially the white rolls, you really want to try them all. Even if it says there's only 3% chance, fuck it, try it anyway.
Whoa.
Because you never know. Like I started, so at some point I was like, man, I've cleared off so many of the stuff, and I'm like, I don't know where to go. And the only two people I have left to talk to, I'm trying to up stats so that I can, get a better chance. And then I was like, well, fuck it. I mean, let's see what I got now. And I was literally like at 30 something. I'm like, well, fuck it. Boom, hit a green. I'm like, oh shit, okay. Conversation continue. And then something else went on the right, and I was like, again, like 40 something percent. I'm like, well, fuck it. Boom, hit a green. I'm like, oh shit, And so I don't know if it's on purpose. So, and in my head, I kind of started thinking that too. I was like, well, maybe because the game knows that I really don't have much else going on. I'm coming. I feel like I'm coming to the end. That is saying, well, we probably want to, move him along a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was my assumption. I don't know. But I got hit on it was more than two. It was definitely three, where I was like, I'm just rolling a roll because I was like, I want to continue the story, and this is the main story. And so that was just like, I smell a little, a little setup here. We're going, because I mean, I've cleared a bunch of side stuff. So I'm like, it's probably the game going, well, he ain't got much else. We might as well just
move along. That would be very intelligent if he did that.
I know. I mean, it would be, but it also feels a little bit cheapened. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
well,
It's
then
not
how
really
important
10.
are the fucking roles? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Am I gonna just hit green every time? Was the
Might as well
main
just
thing?
give me if I don't if I need this to continue definitely, then don't make me roll for it.
Yeah.
Just
Well, to be fair, so I guess I should. To be fair, most of the time, the roles don't stop you. They change the way you do something. You
right,
know what I mean?
right,
So,
right.
like for instance, back to the conversation with the person, I can either be empathetic and understanding and sound like a freaking person who's done this job and has delivered a message to someone,
Mm.
because you're a cop and whatever. Or I can sound like a bumbling idiot because I don't know what to say and I've been drunk since the morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
unfortunately, regardless of how many times I had to do it again, I sounded like the bumbling idiot. You know?
Ah,
So,
you will
but I
never
still,
be able to recover back your
correct. Yeah.
glory.
So the role, I guess it's important to say, the roles don't always stop you.
Mhm.
There is, but it's also for me, it was more like I want to come in, and so like one of them is, God, I forgot the name of it now, but it's like your status as a cop or oh God, it's killing me the name. But it's like a cop, right? That you have this status in the community. I don't know what it is. I don't know the actual name of it. And it's killing me now. But
It's
basically,
Paragon and Renegade. We
yeah,
know.
you basically have like, because you are a man of the law, you have this intimidating factor. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Not because you're a man, not because you have a gun, but because you're a man of the law. You have this. So that's
Uh-huh.
what the actual thing is. And it wasn't high enough. Who I was speaking to, this dude was an ass. So I'm like, no, I need him to respect my authority. So I want to make sure I'm high enough. Because I could have probably spoken to him regularly, not hit it, and then still
I love it.
continue, but then feel like a fucking moron speaking to them. You know what I mean?
It's like, no,
So
I need you
that's
to respect my authority.
exactly, exactly. So the game is just fucking.
Hilarious.
Honestly, that's what I'm trying to say. I really think that the game is so unique and so
I need to go back. Fuck
satisfying.
it. I'm gonna. You know what? That I'm done with Outriders. Unless it's Tuesdays, I'm gonna play. I need to go to this game because I remember when I was playing and when I was trying to put it in words, like, dude, listen to that podcast. Like, find it, whatever it
Yeah,
was.
I remember. Yeah.
It is. It was. It was an experience. It was something so different from all the other type of games. The problem is it was a little bit too point and clicky for what I was looking for. Not saying that point and click games are bad, far from it. But at that particular time, I was craving for something else, and I feel like now I'm like, yeah, especially hearing you talk about the roles and stuff like that. It's like bringing me memories of bringing thoughts to my mind of
Hmm.
tabletop games,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and that is, yeah, that I will definitely I
It
will
is.
definitely
It is
probably play. Yeah,
definitely extremely, extremely unique, and that's I think
yeah,
really why I didn't rage quit.
right.
That's really the only, because I'm telling you, dude, I don't have a lot of time to play throughout the week. And when I spend an hour and a half redoing the same thing
Yeah,
5 times, that's enough to say, fuck this.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But I didn't. I looked it up. I
yeah,
decided to move on to something else, and
yeah,
it didn't have me redo 5 hours worth of shit too, because that probably would have done it as well.
yeah. Right.
It does save through, as you go along, and I've made it a habit to save after major conversations.
Uh-huh.
So
Good.
because of that, it's like, okay, I'm never, if it was to happen, I'm never redoing more than 10, 15 minutes worth of stuff. So, and then of course, if it's a conversation, you can kind of fly through the conversation again because you already know what you said, so, but anyway, authority is actually the name of the thing I was trying to talk about.
He was
That's the name
authority.
of it.
It
Yeah,
was
it's
a thing.
authority.
It's like it's
I don't know
this
why I
thing.
couldn't think of it.
It's a cop, and he's
He's got this thing about
oh
him.
my god, dude. What a
Oh my God.
concept,
I
authority.
know. I tell you, who would have thought? So here's a couple funny ones, real quick. One of them is called Savoir Faire, which I love.
Savoir faire, what?
Savoir Faire. I couldn't tell you that you have to read it to this thing, but it's almost like this additional, I don't know, peppiness to what you do. It's so weird. You have hand-eye
Like
coordination, of
je
course.
ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi. Yeah. You have what else you have here? Let me tell you the ones that speak to you, because there's a few that speak to you, and some of them are rarely ever say anything. One of them is electrochemistry, which is consistently speaking to me whenever somebody talks about drugs or alcohol. It's like
What?
yeah. It's like so you're interrogating somebody. Yeah, no, I think what they use those boats for is just bringing in drugs and some other stuff. And then the thing comes in. Drugs? Did she say drugs? We need to find more information about
That's
this.
all in your head. Like you have those in your head. That's
fucking awesome, dude.
That is
and of
awesome.
course, I said it. Mine's a crazy whatever. I'm consistent every morning as I get up. I'm just like, oh, let me take a little bit of my medicine here, a little bit of speed, a little bit of alcohol,
Yeah.
and then go throughout my day, because you also get like stat bonuses for having that stuff.
Yeah.
And it also affects you negatively, but sometimes the stat bonuses are outweigh the negatives. Like, fuck it.
No, drugs never, nothing.
Not in real life, kids. Not in real life. We're talking fantasy world here.
Exactly. Winners don't use drugs.
Correct. Agreed. 100%. Yes. But anyway, so yeah, Disco Elysium. I've only seen one movie, and I'm just gonna go through it quick here, and that is, of course, a film I told you about, the Intouchables. Which you, my friend, I remember since you sent me the American version of it, that you've actually brought this up in the show one day when you saw it. So what this is a story about a man who is who's well off. He's got lots of money, but he's also a quadriplegic essentially. Yeah. But he ends up hiring a caregiver that is not anything anyone would have expected him to do. It is a man from the streets who, he's just getting by with whatever jobs he can. And it sparks this friendship that is so freaking awesome. This is like, it's such an amazing story that I don't know, man. I immediately said, "Dude, you need to watch this." And then, of course, you said, "Well, I did. I watched the one with Bryan Cranston and this guy." And I'm like,
I watched The Upside, which is
The Upside.
It's literally the same premise. It is the exact same premise.
I looked into it, yeah.
And now you have to see it so you can contrast and compare.
No, I don't think so, sir.
No. I think so. No. In all honesty, I think you should. Not in the sense that I'm not. Like, all joking aside, I am not advocating for The Upside being the better one of the two, because you can tell it's not. I would say, if anything, The Upside will be kind of like the McDonald's version, and then The Untouchable will be like your high class restaurant. But both of them are gonna satisfy your hunger, but in different ways. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway,
nice analogy. I
am. Thank you. I am honestly curious, because it's not a bad movie. I told you that I enjoyed it quite a bit, and I mean, we got Bryan Cranston. He's great. We got Kevin Hart also, but his humor lands sometimes and not so well on others, but it still has that good chemistry. It's still a very touching movie, and it's still it's still a good experience. And since you have watched the Intouchables, I honestly will be very interested on knowing. I know you have a list, and this doesn't have to go high on it or anything like that. But I'm just saying, if you ever do, at some point, do so, because I would like to hear your thoughts on it.
Honestly, I'm a little curious. I'm a little curious, because first off, I want to get obviously on record that I don't have a problem with Kevin Hart. I feel like it's like
no, me neither. It's just
my issue is when I see Kevin Hart, I immediately see a comedy that I generally don't find funny.
Right.
And so that's why
this is not that. They're not going for that at all. No.
Okay, so that was my concern when I first saw it, because the wonderful thing about The Intouchables is it is humorous, but the movie's not a comedy.
Right.
You know what I mean? The movie is.
I mean, it's a comedy drama, but I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, well, as I'm saying, but it's more drama than it is. Like, it gets funny in certain parts, but it's not because it's trying to be a comedy.
Right.
It's because, hello, this guy is not used to having to do some of the things that he has to do for someone who's a cartoon leader. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But not only that, later on, the little different things that they do together. The thing where you can see that this man who's an aristocrat, has no connection to the streets that this guy comes from. And yet they bond on such a beautiful level. Oh, and on top of that, yes, he's black and one is not, is white. So is that an important thing? I don't know. And considering where we've been in the last year, it feels important. And it probably felt more meaningful to me because I was watching it and it was just so well done. Yeah. Because the aristocrat or the rich man, the reason he wanted him is because he kept saying he doesn't see me as a cripple. He consistently forgets that I'm a cripple. And that makes me feel better because I'm constantly being treated differently because I am. He doesn't see it that way. Yeah. And as a just an immediate thing, the caregiver saw him as someone who needed more joy. You know what I mean? So they would go places that he's, the aristocrat's gone a bunch of times, but because he's with someone who sees it through different eyes and he's just like, you know what I mean? It's just so freaking well done. I would urge you to watch this one.
I know. I intend to. Honestly, I 100% intend to. Mainly because I really, I really like, the setting and the plot of the Upside. I thought it was a great story, and I want to see this take. I will even, because I did check a little bit if when the movies were released, and the Intouchables was released in 2011.
Yeah,
the Upside was released in 2017. Being the newer movie, and I feel like if this would have been a story, like let's say if the Intouchables wouldn't have happened and the Upside would have been released, I feel like this movie would have gotten it wouldn't have been looked under the shadow of the Untouchable, because
Untouchables,
yeah, because at the end, I mean, I don't have to see it yet, although I intend to, but I don't have to see it to tell you that, man. And watching the trailer on that, this might as well be the same, the same take.
Same exact thing,
It's the exact same thing, and I like what they did. Upside, granted, same thing. When I don't have anything against Kevin Hart, but his comedy is also the type of comedy that I don't particularly find like super enticing to watch. So. Although I do fucking love his stand up. Anyway.
Oh no, his stand up is gold. Oh,
his stand up is I will go. Yeah. But at least you can go into this movie relaxing, because it's not going to that level. It's not trying to compete.
It's just trying to because so an important thing to say about the Intouchables. The Intouchable is a French film. It takes place in France. It takes place in Paris. It's completely in French. You know what I mean? So it will need subtitles. Yeah. Okay. This is not an English.
Well, in that case, then now you can actually see why. Watch the Upside if you want to have. If you don't want to have to deal with all that. Dude, I understand why this movie was made, why the Upside was made.
No, for sure. That's what I'm saying. I know why this was. I know why the Upside was made. I
feel like that should have been a kind of an important thing to open up with.
Why? What's wrong with it being in French?
I don't know.
Anyway, the other reason why I guess it would be important is because the actual. So it's based on a true story, and the main characters who are involved kind of had a little hand into what was going on with it. So I mean, that's another amazing thing where these two are still friends to this day. And it's just like, it's just a beautiful tale. I mean, I don't really say anything else other than saying it's just a beautiful tale. It is hilarious. Again, not meant to be a comedy, but it is hilarious in points. In points where we were in tears, laughing because it was just he's not used to, of course, being from the street. He's not used to private planes. He's not used to operas, and to see him there and react the way he would because he's not fake. You know what I mean? He's not going to pretend to be someone else. He's just going to be himself wherever he's at. And again, that's something that Philippe is the dude's name, the aristocrat. That's something that he appreciated. And anyway, it's a beautiful tale. I actually got recommended this by Cynthia years ago. It's been on the list for years. And I was like, yeah, I'll get to it. Dude, easily 6 years ago. Just wow. I was like, yeah. And I was like, I'll get to it.
2011 when it was actually, yeah.
When it first came out. Yeah, it is an excellent film. And apparently so is the upside. So I haven't seen it. I can't say it. I won't say yay or nay on that. But I will have to fit it in because I'm also curious about what's different because there's always something different. You got to make it. You almost have to localize it for where it's coming out because I can picture certain things. I'm going.
This
didn't really make sense in America.
No. Yeah. This is obviously very localized, and if it makes a difference, like the audience scores, obviously in the Untouchable are much higher at 93. In the upside,
where are you looking?
Oh, sorry, I'm looking at Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, okay.
And the upside was 82.
There you go. That's right there.
Yeah. However, the actual reviews, the critics in Untouchable, they're at 75%. This is a fresh tomato. Whereas the upside, they have it at 43, so it's kind of like splat.
A splat.
But again, I feel like it's because it's a lot of it is because it's being judged under the shadow of the original, and of course, when you do that, you start seeing where
exactly. No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And it is a shame because that's how a lot of these movies, when they come up there, you'll see them, you go, oh, this is an interesting story. You find out, oh, this is a remake from a European film that already happened. And you see, it's like, oh, it didn't because everybody's in love with the original. You know what I mean? Right. It's the reason why they're even making an American version.
Why they're localizing exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And so, but again, it always comes down to it can never live up to it. And I think critically, sometimes some of these critics have their heads up their ass sometimes when they're doing this. You know what I mean? So right. I when it comes to stuff like that, it's like you really grain of salt on the newer one, you know what I mean, when it comes to critic, because they're already holding the other one probably too high in their head. So but anyway, that's all I've been doing. And guys, we are back, and it is time for our trailer of the week.
Hey, 3, 2, 1, go!
Sir, what is your trailer of the week? I'm just gonna hand the relay off to you.
Well, are we presenting the finalists, or are we just going straight out into it?
So I guess we can present the finalists. So
let's present the finalists.
Yeah,
okay.
So the first one, I guess we'll choose in any order. Fast 9 has released their most recent ridiculous trailer. And so, yeah. and the next one is Army of the Dead. Which I think is also their second trailer. And then finally, The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, which is a sequel to The Hitman's Bodyguard, of course, if you saw that movie, you know what the hell I'm talking about. So those are the
Fantastic
finalists.
movie that you all should watch.
I cannot
Including Matt.
support that statement at all.
Oh no, you're putting it as if it was a bad movie, and
No,
it's
no,
not
no,
a bad
no,
movie.
no. But you're saying it's fantastic. I can't support that. So,
It is. It is. That movie's great. That movie is great.
I'm
That
glad you
movie-
like it.
You want to have good. You want to have a good time. You want to have a good time. You want to have some good laughs, legitimate laughs, not like Ghostbusters 2016's attempt. You know?
God.
I know. I went all the. Yeah, I went.
Opposite
I
end of the
have. I
spectrum there,
apologize.
my friend. Yeah.
I apologize. Yeah, no. You want to have a good. You enjoy. What's the fuck is his name? Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds
Yeah.
and Sammy Jackson, bro. It's like
I love me some Samuel Jackson. Don't get me wrong. I
love
am,
some Sammy Jackson with Ryan Reynolds sprinkled on it. Sprinkled through.
what does that even really look
I
like?
know.
Oh my God.
That's a terrible image. That is to say, I am very excited to see the sequel to the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Is that what it's called?
That's
now?
what it's called. Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard. Yeah.
Yeah. But the only reason is because I enjoyed the first movie. This trailer did absolutely nothing to. Well, I wouldn't say that. That's too harsh. I would say it got me worried where the sequel is going from. If you watch the sequel, they have they even had the thing with we're trying to have a baby. It's like, oh, okay, come on. Like it didn't look very well. On top of that, the trailer had, for some reason, it has "Hit Me Baby One More Time" from Britney Spears. Yes, that's that one. That the only one.
Yeah. There's no other version. Yeah.
As their song, and it didn't spark any confidence on this movie being like particularly even up to the level, which I'm personally not saying, hey, The Hitman Bodyguard is one of the best movies I've watched. I'm not saying that. I'm saying, if you want to have a good time, if you want to have some good laugh, and if you like Sammy Jackson and you like Ryan Reynolds, definitely put it on your list.
I can support that statement. There you
go.
Yeah,
there you go. That one was great.
Yeah. Now the sequel is neither of ours trailer of the week, for the record. It was we can call it the runner-up, sure.
It was runner-up. Yeah. Without a single sliver of a doubt, the trailer of the week starts and end with Army of the Dead, son. I mean, if you're there, and you're gonna make some sort of statement about F9, about the 9th movie that they have done of this, then I will be even more interested in hearing your side.
Well, you've already announced Army of the Dead is yours. So, what about this trailer or what you saw makes it your trailer?
It is. Well, I got a little concerned at first when the first thing they show is fucking Dave Bautista, because I don't have anything against the guy, but he's not my favorite actor. But that's all right. It's fine. It's like, watching him one of those. Oh, okay. He's probably gonna be one of those movies. But then you see. I mean, you could tell by the name of the movie what it's gonna be about. However, I love that the trailer, when it opens up, it doesn't necessarily like paint it out like that. I thought it was a very nice. It was a very nice trailer. It has some movements that it literally had me LOLing. Like and I'll let you guys watch the trailers and judge for yourself. But of course, by the name, you could tell that at some point you see the zombies out, which I guess. Are they not calling them zombie now because they're supposed to be smarter and faster, or are they freakers, or what are we? Calling
it's of the Dead series, so they are zombies.
They're zombies.
Yeah, they are zombies. I think what it is that they have evolved. I
They
think
have.
I don't know where the timeline is on this.
I don't
Um,
even know where they got. Do you? Oh, okay. Oh, well, hold on. So you mean to say? You mean to say that these movies are all in a universe?
yes, the of the Dead series. Yeah,
All the Dead series
yeah.
is a universe. Wow, that's crazy. Because wow. Okay. Okay. All right. I didn't know. I wouldn't have put two together, but now I'm like, huh, interesting. Dude, this movie, this trailer has it all. It has a very nice opening with the music. I mean, uh, once you see the premise of it, it's like okay, not the most original, but definitely interesting. It reminds me a lot of Dead Rising. Like
Mm,
you like this might as
yep.
well be like this could have very well been that the next Dead Rising because oh my god
I
and
was thinking Left for Dead, but yeah, yeah, yeah. That definitely probably fits
Left
better.
4 Dead, yes, yes, Left 4 Dead. See, I'm thinking that Rising because I started to see, yeah, I started to see them like putting weapons together in a way that it's like, oh, are they customizing shit? Like,
They
is
sure
this how
are.
they're gonna? So that looked interesting. And then I'm sorry, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Zombie Tiger, bro. Zombie Tiger,
that
like have me
that did
like,
it for you.
oh
Okay.
my god, oh, like okay, that's it. This wins. Whereas I watched a trailer for Fast Nine, whatever they're calling it, Fast and the Furious series,
A Fast and Furious movie. Yeah,
a
yeah.
Fast and Furious movie. Thank you. And I just zoned out because
I had
it
a
just
feeling you
seemed,
did. Yeah.
it just, and to be honest, I truly did. Now I watched it, but like you see action. You see the craziness that they're doing, and like it doesn't hit anymore because at some point it's like, well, okay, you already super past the area where this was something to be amazed about. It's like, okay, well now you have fucking I don't know, the next S10 is gonna have you know baby shooting bazooka satellites or whatever. It's like it just they're just gonna make shit up for the sake of just having something even crazier and crazier and crazier and crazier. And it's always kind of like, oh, you know what? Now this guy has a brother that never came into
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
any of the
Absolutely.
previous movies, of course. It's
Not
like
even mention.
not even
You
mention.
know,
At least,
it
at
even
least,
calls. He even calls out the fact that. So you talk about family all the time, but you forgot my ass. You know. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So did all the writers.
Yes. How do you want to approach it? Fast, and you feel like somebody's gonna say, "I'm furious." And the what's the other thing? The like at least correct me if I'm wrong because this movie's blurry in my head. Honestly, I don't know which one is which, and I could care less. But there was one where Vin Diesel, I think it was 8, when Vin Diesel, like you started to doubt like where his allegiances were, right?
Yeah, that was the
I
last one.
mean,
Yeah,
let's be real. You always knew.
yeah,
Don't be
yeah,
stupid.
yeah.
Like, don't be silly. You always
You
knew from
really
the
didn't
get
doubt.
go.
Yeah, yeah.
It was just more. Well, let me see why he's doing this. Because of course he's a reason. Because he's not gonna. We're not gonna do it again. There wouldn't be a fast 9 if he did, right? So that's why I just saw that and I was like nothing impressed me, honestly. And yes, it wild as it is and crazy. It's like if you're into those type of movies, you're probably gonna love this. But I'm not. I was never particularly into to begin with, and just seeing this is like, well, of course, next time they're gonna they're gonna go to space. Like I know they're gonna go to space
It
at
looks
some
like they're
point.
going to space now. So
They
this
might be
is,
going now exactly because
yeah.
you need to bring it to the next step. I know at some point they'll go back in time, and it's like it
We're
does
going to the Jurassic period.
like it doesn't matter. That's the thing. It doesn't matter what the cars could do and what the cars could do and the jumping, the crazy. It's like none of that matters because you're now it's you're Michael Bay in this shit, but to the point, to the extreme. You're out Michael Bay, Michael Bay, and
So
that's not a good thing.
so real quick, I wanted to touch on the Dead series. So the Dead series generally, well, they started with George Romero. I'm sure you've heard of
Right.
George Romero.
Yes.
He did Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead. He's just been doing that forever. Zack
It's not his
Snyder
gem, though. Yeah.
basically came to the series when he did his first movie, Dawn of the Dead, which was an excellent film.
Yes,
I mean,
it was.
it's literally one of the best films of zombie films. Period. I mean, it's a film that The Walking Dead and everything. They have all these ideas and stuff that you can credit from. So, well, the original of the Dead series as well too. But anyway, Army of the Dead looks to be somewhere within that universe. How, we don't know. Based on what we see, it looks like they've corralled all the zombies into one space and put it in the desert because fuck it, it's the desert. Who wants to be out there anyway? And now it's a heist movie on top of a zombie movie. So
a zombie heist movie.
Yeah, pretty much.
That sounds awesome.
Being a Zack Snyder film, I've already said it. He is a visual artiste. You know what I mean? He can visually put together something that's absolutely spectacular. And there's no doubt about it. I have never doubted that man whenever it came to some visuals. Everything he's done has had spectacular views.
Yeah.
On the other hand, the other portion of it is the storytelling portion, which is hit and miss. You know what I mean? It's like you're either going to have something that's coherent or you're going to have something that makes no sense. Sucker Punch says hi. So anyway, because of that, I don't know what I'm getting from him there. I'm excited about it, the fact that it's on Netflix. So regardless of how I feel about it, I'm going to be able to watch it. You know what I mean? So,
and it's going to be soon.
So moving over to Fast 9, I want to tell you a little something that I think I found that trailer when I first saw it to be the most comedic thing I've seen ever. It's just like
ever.
Well, I guess when it comes to a trailer, you know what I mean?
You have some skews.
No.
Comedy is.
Yeah, it is. Well, as far as the trailer goes, it is insane that this series still exists, knowing where it came from. Yeah. I am so curious about. I'm so. I don't know. I don't even know what I am about it, but I am so something about it that I have already decided and planned out to rewatch this series because I've only made it to part 5. And here's what I can say about the first 5 of them. The first one came out, and I've seen the first one many a times, and I'm positive that piece of shit did not age well. It is cringy as all get out. It is just not good. But I remember enjoying it. Part 2 was more funnier because it had Tyrese, and it was just humorous. They had a little fun with part 2. Part 3, for whatever reason, decided to go to Tokyo. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, Tokyo.
No one's involved with anything. And then part 4 was
that was the Dark Ages.
Well, I enjoyed Tokyo Drift for the record.
No, but I
enjoyed Tokyo Drift, but part 4 was not good. Part 4 is probably worse than the first one. So, of this grouping right here, I have to ask myself, how does this freaking franchise still survive? How the hell is it possible that some company continue to, produce and put money towards this thing? And it doesn't make sense to me. And the reality is it doesn't have to make sense to me because it's not trying to be anything other than an absolute fun time. And that was the most evident when I finally saw Fast 5. And this is the last one I saw. I have not seen any past that. But I remember watching Fast 5 the first time, because I've watched it multiple times, the first time going, dear Lord, what did they do with this? Because it's like they just said, fuck it, we're throwing every idea at the wall and we're just going to go with it.
Yeah.
And
they still are, by the way.
Realistically, I think 5 has a coherent story. What I guess threw me off was how world trotting it became from everything beforehand. You know, I mean, literally in the first one, they're a bunch of street racers from LA. You know what I'm saying? You go to part 5, suddenly there's these like the world's best thieves or whatever, you know. Oh, and by the way, they drive anything, and oh, and by the way, they do stunts, you know. It's like, and I remember just going, the first time I was a little shocked. The second time I watched it again, I was like, you know, this is a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I don't know why Tego Calderon y Omar, Don Omar, why are they here? Who gives
you're selling this movie to me so hard. Oh,
no. It's so funny because they're there and they have very small roles, for the record. But I'm just like, why are they here? They, you know, and then for whatever reason, I still found it humorous. You know what I mean? And I never went back. Yeah. It was just at that point, I was just like, and it just kept coming out. I was, oh, this is just getting ridiculous. Then I finally sit down to really, really watch this trailer because it's the hot thing of the week. Believe it or not, it's everyone was like, oh, Fast 9. And I watch it and I'm just amazed at the level of, I don't give a fuck. We're making a crazy ass movie. This might as well be Michael Bay. This might as well be somebody going, you know what? I'm going to, like you said, I'm going to out Michael Bay. you know what I mean? And I'm just like, yeah, I kind of just want to unplug and just say, fuck it. Let's just go.
I can get behind that. You just went, I can get behind that. Yeah.
And that's why I leaned on that one. It's just like, man, I cannot believe. And then of course the end of the trailer, just like, so these fuckers are going to go at least into the outer atmosphere. I don't know how far they're going to go, you know, but clearly that's the plan. And I'm just like, Mars. Of course. So then in my head, I'm going, what is it why do they need to, what's there that they need to do, you know? And I don't know, dude. It just left me like, and like I said, I've even told my wife, honey, I don't know if this is going to count towards our movie thing, but this is what's happening. If you're interested, let me know and we're in, you know? And she's been doing that with the Mission Impossible series. I'm like, you know what? I think I get my wife on board on this. Wow. So I don't know, bro. I think that's what it is. And yes, I get it. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's one of those series where, like you said, a brother pops up. Why wasn't he mentioned? We've had 8 movies prior. No brother ever mentioned of Dom. Not only, and to sell the fact that he is his brother, he wears the same cross. I'm like, oh, of course, because why not, right?
Of course, yeah.
Everyone who's died keeps coming back. Letty died, she came back. Han died, he came back. It's like, so nobody died. This might as well be a comic book series. Everybody just comes back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But except the actor that really died, though.
Who died?
Wasn't there an actor that everybody?
Paul Walker. Yeah,
he did that. I'm sorry. I'm bad with names. I don't mean to disrespect.
No, for sure. I didn't think that either. Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, those are our trailer of the week. So he's going with Army of the Dead, and I'm going for whatever reason with Fast 9 because. Fuck it.
Because
exactly.
You know, at that point, it's like, don't try to understand it. Just know that.
No. And the sad part is, I know so many of the. Here's a great one. Here's a great one that you would not know. So Tokyo Drift, believe it or not, is this, like, chronologically the 6th film, even though it came out 3rd. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. 4, 5, and 6 are actually prequels to the Tokyo Drift film.
Okay, so does the movies have that? Yeah, I still don't care.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. And I don't even blame you. So
it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. So moving on to our useless news that you can use, and I'm going to start here with the little piece I already teased in our prior segment, and that is the MPD Group has released its monthly video U.S. game sales report for March 2021.
MPD alert! And talk about numbers.
We are talking about it, and they seem to further confirm the Outriders inclusion on the Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, does not doom its sales. Outriders, a surprise hit that launched day and date on the service, still managed to put an impressive numbers on Xbox. Outriders managed to take the third spot on the Xbox top sellers list, which does not include Game Pass, for March 2021, trailing only Assassin's Creed Valhalla and Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. This put it above other huge games like Madden 21, Forza 4, both of which are also available on Xbox Game Pass, believe it or not. The game actually came out on April 1st, but the sales data extended to April 3rd, meaning it did this in just a few days. But Outriders also managed to take the third spot on PlayStation charts, only trailing Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War and Spider-Man Miles Morales, while actually beating Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Outriders was the third on all platform charts as well, and because many of the games that are on the list from last year, many of the games on that list are from last year, it's likely to climb even higher as it goes on. Given the franchise's huge popularity, it shouldn't be surprised that Monster Hunter Rise took the top spot for Nintendo the month. Okay, this is going on to others. I really wanted to bring this up because you had questions regarding, how the game sales are doing, and they're doing stellar.
Yeah, I'm gonna surprise that because I mean, you gotta imagine they still make money of Game Pass from Microsoft, right? But you will imagine that obviously still will be a reduction of number of sales because of course everybody that's playing it on Game Pass. But evidently, even with Game Pass, this game sold, and it's like
on Xbox as well, on Xbox and obviously on PlayStation, since PlayStation didn't have a Game Pass equivalent, so it makes sense that obviously the sales are going to be high.
It's just surprising. It's just surprising because
agreed.
Sometimes honestly, sometimes it's just the mere fact of giving a taste of it. That demo, I felt like the demo helped a lot because it was a good demo in the sense of that it gave you enough to do. And it kept you with the idea of, well, if you want to continue the story, you can continue with this same character that you invested some time on already, and if you buy it. And honestly, that's what I did. I played the demo, and I was like, you know what? I did not have a bad time with it. I kind of enjoyed it. It's a little rough here and there, but it's like the thing that everybody's talking about. And I like loot games. So sure, let me let me try it. Let me buy it and play it and see if worse comes to worse, at least I'll have something new to talk about on the podcast. And I feel like that demo helped. Like honestly,
I think so too, because even I was weighing in on the only reason I didn't is because it's like this really needs more people to play, and I'm not going to dedicate the time, particularly now because I'm in the middle of something. So I'm just like, it's just and you guys like think about it right now. It's like, well, if I get it now, you guys already beat it, and sure, you guys will have no problem taking me through. That's not the same. It's not the same experience the first time, and so it's like, it's not a game for me. But I was weighing on it. I'm not gonna lie. I was just like, well, I kind of like where it was going. You know what I mean? So
it doesn't. So, it's not.
I think honestly that I honestly think that story hook was a hook. I think anyone who played the demo came away from that going, man, this is because even I was the same way. It was like, this is actually this looks really interesting, And so man, kudos to them for really getting the demo out. Getting people's feet wet in it, getting the taste for it, and clearly it worked out.
Yeah. When you think about it, and when you think about other games that came out, and like Destiny, for example, the first Destiny came out, and it sold a lot, but it wasn't too far until a lot of people started like hating on it, like really hating on a lot of the things. This one, it almost feels like hating on it. It's kind of like it's kind of like, I don't know, like hitting a child or something. I don't know.
People are a little protective of it. Yeah.
It feels like it feels like, well, it's not trying to be that, with Destiny was all pompous. Destiny's like, oh, the makers of Halo and Destiny awaits, and this is like the major thing from Bungie. This thing is like people can fly, like, okay, here, they made a looter shooter. Who would have thought? Like, I have no idea that was a project that they were doing, much less that they were doing it for Square Enix. You know what I thought People Can Fly was doing? I thought they would do it Fortnite maps. Honestly, that's what I thought I was doing, just Fortnite support. But no, they were doing their own thing, and
Yeah.
and yeah, it's definitely not perfect. You know what this is? This is a great $30 grab.
Well, that's the other thing, right? It's not a full price game, right?
It is a full
Oh, it is
price
full
game.
price? Oh,
That's the
okay.
problem. That I
That's
paid
even
full price
more
for it.
impressive. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, when we say full price, we're saying 60 or 70.
60, sorry, 60.
60.
Oh, that's right. Because now, no, I paid $60 for it. Yeah. And crossplay, which, I mean, at first it was not working, but now it works, and it's kind of amazing. You can play with people on Xbox, and
It's the future, man.
and it hit the right notes, even if it didn't hit them very well. It still did well enough to satisfy, at the very least satisfy. And because it did so well, that, I mean, or at least you will expect that it will get the support from Square and from its developers to make it better, to smooth things out, to, who knows, even an Outrider 2 could actually be something impressive, like way later on down the line, because after a hit like this, that second, it's already in the works.
Yep.
So yeah, we're on the lookout for more Outriders.
Nice.
I'm interested in seeing what's next. Dude, did you know
I didn't.
that Castlevania,
I did.
Castlevania's final season hits Netflix in May?
The final one. Nice. That's so good. I'm glad that they're not
They're
making
not
it
extend. Yeah, they're not
17
going crazy.
seasons or something. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Netflix Castlevania's animated series will conclude with its upcoming fourth season, which will hit the streaming service on May 13, according to Deadline. While this will be the last season of the show, Netflix is eyeing a new series in the same universe, but following a different set of characters. Based on the Konami game series of the same name, Castlevania premiered in 2017 with a short 4-episode season. The first 2 seasons adapted the 1989 prequel game Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. The third season, meanwhile, drew inspiration from 2 different Castlevania games, Castlevania Symphony of the Night and Castlevania Curse of Darkness. The fourth season was announced last March. And then he says that the dark medieval fantasy series had tapped many of the classic game characters, such as Monster Hunter Trevor Belmont, magician Sifa Belnades. I forgot. I forgot how to
Nailed
pronounce
it.
his names. And the son of Dracula, obviously, Alucard, which, for those who don't know, Alucard is Dracula spelled backwards. I discovered that when I was born. So there is a trailer. There's a teaser that came out. You guys are welcome to look for it on the boxes. But yeah, man,
Nice.
it's good that they're closing it down. Does it feel early though, or do you think this is the right time? It looks like it feels like it's the right time.
Yeah. I'd say it's around the right time. I think so. Yeah.
You're tired of it. You're done with it.
Yeah. Exactly. I am. Fuck that. No, I mean,
hater.
So my next piece, guys, Nintendo's Indie World Showcase just aired earlier this week. Nintendo has unleashed another of its indie-focused showcases, firing out more announcements of games heading to Switch in the coming months and beyond. I am not going to go through all of them here. I'm going to really go just the highlights on the big ones that I found to be interesting. First one is, of course, Ollie Ollie World, which is a sequel to the developer Roll7's Ollie Ollie. Excuse me. It's making its long-awaited return, and it brings the series' fearsomely compelling, traditionally two-dimensional skateboarding formula into a wonderfully stylized 3D world. It actually looks very cool. If you've seen Ollie Ollie before and you see this,
Yeah.
you may not even recognize it. It just looks very,
Better.
very different. Yeah. But it looks really, really nice. It has almost like almost a little cell shaded look, but it is really, really vibrant. The next game I wanted to mention is coming to the Switch. Is acclaimed point and click comedy adventure. There is no game. Wrong Dimension. Offering a silly and unexpected journey through a procession of perhaps faintly familiar video game universes. Then, of course, we have a surprise one for me. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge is a side-scrolling beat-em-up inspired by the retro games Turtles in Time. It looks and plays really well. Looks and appears to play, I should say, really well. It is a collaboration between Dotemu, the publisher behind Streets of Rage 4, and Wonder Boy the Dragon's Trap, and Flint Hook, developer Tribute Games, and it is coming to Switch later on this year. It looks really cool. I definitely recommend you looking at that.
I gotta hand it to emu. They the games that they release, the concept of the games that they release, it's not meant to be like crazy out there. It's just like, hey, people remember these games and they enjoyed it. What if we brought them back? Sometimes I'll remake sometimes something new. Like Streets of Rage 4 was something new, but it evoked that, did you play Streets of Rage 4?
I didn't. It's on my wish list. So if I see it a nice little sale, I might jump on it. But I do want to. I do want to jump on it. They do, and I have to give it to them. They are pretty masterful when it comes to the 8-bit look or the pixel look of what they do. It is, I mean, really, really gorgeous, vibrant looking graphics. This one I really recommend you checking out. Just a video to see it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Dear Lord. Moving on. Perpetual Nintendo Indie Showcase attendee Chris Tales. This is a game that I've had my eye on for quite some time. It's actually coming to all platforms, but they also showed it off here, and it is set to come out July 20th, 2021. For whatever reason, this is the head scratcher of the night. Getsu Fumaden. Undying Moon is an old game, an old Nintendo game that was made by Konami. It has a revival. For whatever reason, Konami greenlit this. It's just like, it is the most obscure, very Japanese game. Easily, you can tell by the name. So I am only mentioning it because I don't get it. It's a WTF moment, is what that is. Skull, the Hero Slayer, I've had my eyes on, and cool that it's coming out to Switch. I don't think it's coming out to everything as well. This, of course, is an action-packed roguelike 2D platformer. Looks really really well done. And we'll scroll down here. Well, of course, we have the House of the Dead remake, which also looks kind of cool. And Fez is coming. Apparently, Fez celebrated its 9th birthday here on April 13th, and it's coming over to the Switch. And then finally, the one that I kind of took away, like, yes, I can't wait, is Oxenfree 2 Lost Signals. The sequel to Night School Studios' acclaimed narrative adventure arrives later this year, following the events of the first game. I played Oxenfree and really, really dug that game. And there's a sequel, and all upons, like you like to say.
All upons, yes. I remember that you enjoyed that game, a lot, and I actually had it as a piece of news, and now I have to take it out. So. But that's okay, because I actually found the piece of news that I meant to bring right after you spoke about MPD numbers, and it's because it's more MPDs.
Oh,
So bring it back. Just want to remind everybody that even though it is absolutely impossible unicorn to find, to locate anywhere, somehow miraculously or by what means I don't know, the PlayStation 5 breaks another huge US sales record. In the first 5 months on the market, the PlayStation 5 has become the fastest selling console in the US history in both unit and dollar sales, as revealed by the NPD Group's Matt Piscatella. This news arrived 1 month after the PS5 became the fastest selling console in the US history in dollar sales. Despite that new record, the Nintendo Switch has continued its reign as the best-selling hardware platform in both unit and dollar during March 2021. See, this is why I think these things are confusing. PlayStation 5 was the most sold PlayStation of all. Like, what does that mean? However, the PS5 did rank first in hardware dollar sales in Q1 2021. Uh, March video game hardware sales as a whole were 40% higher than they were in March of 2020. That's kind of amazing when you
yeah.
consider.
Hmm.
Um, and set a March record of 680 million. Anyway, I'm not gonna talk about the actual the percentages and stuff like that, because all you gotta know is that evidently the gaming industry, it's year to date, is still doing very well, because of course it is expected, because consoles were released not too long ago,
Yeah.
and the fact that they are almost impossible to find has made this crazy frenzy of I gotta have it. We know a
It's
person that is,
FOMO.
yeah, it's a FOMO. Yeah,
Yeah.
a full person. Yeah, we know of a person on our friend circle. Is not particularly a gamer, and so far has bought like four of them already, and
Dear
has been
Lord,
selling
yes.
them. It's like, what are you doing?
Why? Yeah, like, you're
Uh,
not even whatever, dude.
yeah.
I know why, but I'm
Are you
just
telling
saying.
him?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Interesting also, we never, even though we never talk about like MPD order numbers, because or order of like the game sales or anything like that, because like we don't like to go into that. But I find it surprising that, just like you said, yeah, Outriders, it's right there number 3 on March best selling games. Monster Hunter Rise second place, and Call of Duty, like you will expect, like everybody that likes Call of Duty has already bought Call of Duty, but no, evidently Codheads rebuy the game every week, apparently, because it's still in number one.
Hmm.
Yeah, you know which game I'm surprised that I don't see on the top 20? GTA 5. That game, it feels like it
If
never wanted to die.
Yeah, I was gonna say it finally fizzled out
Yes.
after 30 years and all, but yeah, it finally fizzled out.
Yeah, Super Mario Kart. I mean, sorry, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. However, it's still rolling at number 6.
I
It's
mean,
still there, going strong.
this is for the Switch, I assume. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can see that. You know, what I mean, Switch sales are still doing. I hope you're talking about the Switch and not the Wii U, right?
Yeah.
So,
Oh no,
okay.
no.
All
Oh,
right.
I'm hoping when I see Mario the Deluxe. Yeah, I'm thinking it's the Switch. It can't. It certainly 100% cannot be the
I hope.
the
Yeah.
Game
I mean,
Boy.
it could, but at the same time, I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? Guys,
I
move
mean, the
on.
DS. I know, right?
What the hell?
I
Oh
know.
man.
By the way, and this not a piece of news, but I was just reading that, because people have been asking, like, Nintendo, what the fuck? Where is F Zero? Like, what happened to F Zero? And they're saying the F Zero is not dead. It's just really hard to bring at the moment. It's like, what are you talking about? You put F Zero, people are gonna eat that up.
For
Nintendo
sure.
fans
Yeah.
are gonna eat that up. I will eat that up. I love F Zero. Like, why? Come on. What are you waiting for? You don't have any competition of those type of games. There's not that many of those type of games on the Switch, I would not think. I don't know what
No.
they're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. They're just missing out. Is really what it is. Or maybe they just feel it wouldn't hit the numbers they need. But I don't know. I think
Numbers they
after
need.
the last F-Zero, how long ago was that one? It's like, just do it. They're gonna get
Might as
into it.
well.
Fucking
Yeah.
Switch needs something. Not just indies. Just saying. Speaking of indies, a little development studio called Capcom. They had a showcase very recent, Resident Evil showcase. And they had some announcements, some gameplay reveals. And so we're just going to kind of quickly run through some of what they showed off. First off, there are demos that are coming, and good luck figuring out any of those fucking demos, because there is a version for the PlayStation 5 that you can download or play for 30 minutes, but only within an 8-hour period. And then it will be available for everybody else, but only for an hour on a different day. It is the most confusing thing I've ever seen for this demo. It's like, what? I literally like audibly said, what? I'm like, there's a demo for so I'm just gonna share that shit to the group, because I'm not going into it because it makes zero fucking sense.
If it's a blue moon and you're on the Eastern Hemisphere,
correct? Yeah.
At 4:37 a.m. Pacific time,
you can only play for 15 minutes, but at 3 a.m. in the morning. That's it.
Exactly.
That's how that works. Yeah.
For long forgotten Saturday that already passed.
Exactly. It's
good luck playing.
So dumb, dude. I think that was really bad. This is another really poor showcase. I mean, it's just like, guys, you just anyway. So that was one of the first things they showed off. Of course, they showed off another trailer. Resident Evil Village brings back Mercenaries mode. Mercenaries mode is back for the first time since Resident Evil 6, and this time it's in first person, as the game is. Capcom also showed off some of its new features, perks, and abilities players can expect, including power bonuses and the ability to purchase new weapons between waves of enemies. Resident Evil 4 is coming back in the form of a VR game, because Capcom has announced Resident Evil 4 VR, a complete overhaul of the classic game that reworks it to from a third person to a first person shooter. That makes
better.
And that makes use of the Oculus Quest 2's motion controls for interacting with objects, using firearms, slicing at enemies with your combat knife. The next one is Resident Evil comes to Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight will cross over with Resident Evil, but the brief teaser did not announce which characters are coming to the competitive survival game. The full reveal will take place during the upcoming Dead by Daylight live stream, which is set for May 25th.
So crazy, dude! Did you know that Resident Evil had they had a cross thing with the Division 2? Like they were gonna
the outfits or some shit like that. Yeah.
Capcom, like okay, so you whoring your games out to other games.
Well, it's their 25th anniversary, so it's like we want everybody to know about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this year is their 25th anniversary, so which is So and then finally, Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, which is the series coming to Netflix. Hold on, let me just make sure it's a series. Capcom and Netflix have been teasing Resident Evil Infinite Darkness for a few months, but now we know a bit more, including its release date. Resident Evil Infinite Darkness is coming to Netflix July 2021. It is set 2 years after the events of Resident Evil 4, starring Leon S. Kennedy and Claire Redfield. It also features President Graham, father of Ashley, if you remember, whom Leon was sent on a special mission to rescue in Resident Evil 4. The trailer of it was not a lot, so don't expect much information there. But yes, it's coming in July. So, and that really was the entire showcase. That I gotta say was a little bit of a letdown.
A little underwhelming. I mean, a lot of Resident. Hey, if you're a Resident Evil fan,
as am I. So I mean, I'm just saying, I walked away like cool, but wasn't blown away by anything. The multiple demo thing really left me like, guys, get your shit together. You know what I mean? The trailer was cool. We got to see Lady whatever her name is, Lady whatever. She was sucking a thumb. I'm like, okay, that's that's enticing. Like it. Demetrius, Lady Demetrius. So, Mercenaries mode looks cool, but that's never anything I'm into. I don't have VR. I'm not going to get Oculus. So Resident Evil 4 VR, it just left me like, okay, so when's the game coming?
It's a cool thing.
It's a lot of little things. I don't know, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean they have the big. They have their big game release announcing coming in with demos. Even as crazy as the demos are, it's like, what else do you want? At that point,
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah. This one is kind of broken. Oh, that's why. Wait a minute. The PC version's always been broken on this one. Nier Automata's broken Steam version is finally getting an update. What? It only took 4 years. What? Nier Automata's original PC release on Steam was so busted in all kinds of ways, so much so that fans had to make their own patches, and that is not a joke. Literally, the fans programmed the patches and fixed the fuck ups that they left that Square Enix left in this title. Now, 4 years after it was released, and only a few months after the less busted version appeared on the Microsoft Store, the developers are finally going to update it. Gee, I wonder if it had to do with the clusterfuck of petitions and rage that everybody was having releasing a slightly improved, slightly more fixed version. That's a horrible sentence of Nier Automata on the Microsoft Store, the rival platform. And if you've bought it on Steam already, like fuck you, you get nothing.
Jeez.
So I wonder, you just have to wonder, like, I wonder why people got all up in arms about that, So yes, obviously we all know they have a new game coming pretty soon with the Nier replicant insert number here, and they know that they. I mean, speaking from my experience, like this is a game that I am not considering buying the PC version whatsoever, and that's usually where I tilt for the most part in a lot of these titles. And I'm not gonna buy the PC version. I have no confidence that Platinum could deliver a proper PC port. Sometimes they do it. The Bayonetta PC port was good, was decent, was nothing spectacular either, pero it worked. It wasn't broken like Nier Automata was.
Yeah.
So yeah. So anyway, we don't know when it'll be fixed or what those fixes will actually include. But we do know that an update patch for the Steam version of Nier Automata is currently in development, end quote, because that's all the game's official Twitter account would say on the matter. So it's like, guys, it's happening. And I'm like, you know what? I'm glad. I'm glad they're finally addressing that, because I thought that was a very shitty move. Not obviously releasing your game and not fixing it. Like that puts very little confidence in me on buying a Square game on PC, because the moment that I see developers treating the PC version as a secondary class, then I have no reason to buy there, or to buy at all in some cases, depending on the type of game it is.
True.
But yeah.
Cool. All right. My next piece, guys, PlayStation 5 system update. Whoa, it happened.
Stability updates?
Sure.
The first
Sony's
stability update?
first major system software update for the PlayStation 5 announced Tuesday is now live. Bringing with it support for external cold storage of PlayStation 5 games and new social features. The update also includes a few previously unannounced features, notably improved support for 120 hertz refresh rates for PC monitors and HDR settings. With Wednesday's update, TVs or monitors that can display at 1080 120 hertz now support 120 hertz for PlayStation 5 games as well, and PlayStation 5 owners have the added option to switch the console's video output to non-HDR when using software without HDR support.
Something that I'm going to recommend everybody, every PlayStation owner to set right now is to set HDR only when supported.
Yeah, exactly. Only that's the option to select. Only when supported. So
yeah. It's not on by default for some ungodly reason of why. Because if you play content that is not HDR in forced HDR, you're gonna distort the colors. You're gonna make it, not optimal. Some people might not notice or they might not know, they might not realize that, oh, that's not really the way that this video is supposed to look.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that should be set by default to activate HDR when supported.
Agreed. Yeah.
Only when supported. Yeah.
So the biggest new feature coming in Wednesday software that came to the update was to support the external USB drives for PlayStation 5 game storage. The option will let PlayStation 5 owners move installed games from the internal SSD to a compatible USB drive and vice versa. The update will not enable the option to play PlayStation 5 directly from the USB storage, nor will it enable the ability to upgrade the PlayStation 5's internal SSD storage. Something to consider. Cross-generation share play. PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 can now share play together while chatting in parties. So that's actually a cool little feature. Yeah. And so there's a buttload of patch notes. So I'm just going to really share that with you guys to peruse at your leisure as far as what they are. But it is their first major one, and there's some good stuff there. So definitely look towards those things.
And for those people that are wondering, like, why can't you play your games directly from an external hard drive? Because you could have more space for your PlayStation 5 games there. You guys have to remember that all PlayStation 5 games now are being made to take advantage of the speed of the SSD speed that the PlayStation has. The PlayStation has an SSD inside, and obviously, and
yeah,
games that are installed there run a lot faster.
They don't want anything to exactly. They don't want anything to, I don't know, mess with it. It's like no.
Yeah, I should say not run faster, load faster.
Load faster.
They're on the same way. Yeah. So you don't want to have the game running from and Sony wouldn't want you to have the game running from the USB directly, because even USB-C is probably not going to be fast enough for the bandwidth that's going to be needed to stream assets to the game. You're going to notice some performance, or the loadings are not going to be as fast as you would like them to be. So that's why you can't. That's why they do it this way. But hopefully the next update, at least, I really, really hope that they start allowing us to upgrade, give us an upgrade path to those SSDs, because for the size of the games that are coming out now, I feel like you say, Matt, that you never had a problem with that because you're constantly installing and uninstalling, or if you need to
but
download it or whatever.
I'm a rare guy. I get you.
But it's starting to feel, like it's starting to feel like you have to do that too much for a new console. And also you got to consider the people that might have bandwidth caps, they cannot afford. Well, now you can say, they can buy a console. I guess there is a stopgap. Yes, I give them that, and I can appreciate that. But man, I need my 2 terabyte. I had a 2 terabyte on my PS4, and I can tell you, I really miss it. I really miss it.
I'm good.
Uh,
I'm weird when it comes to the space, so yeah, it is what it is.
Ghost of Tsushima developer Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch, Sucker Punch. You
I
love
do.
Sucker Punch.
Yeah,
You love Ghost of Tsushima.
I do.
Me, I like it. Ghost of Tsushima's developer Sucker Punch is working on a new project that he described as a quote spectacular multiplayer game end quote. Um, I'm just gonna go ahead and say there's no such thing as a spectacular multiplayer game. Oh, that's not true.
Oh,
That's not true. That's not true. Um, the news arrived from a job advertisement on Sucker Punch job recruitment website. The developer is seeking a multiplayer / network programmer to join its team in Bellevue, Washington. Our talented multiplayer designers create awesome game team experiences, and you'll be a pivotal in bringing that creativity. And I'm not gonna read the job description. Little more can be inferred from the role's description and requirements. Uh, not mention is made. Sorry, of what the multiplayer game is being worked on. So we don't know what it is. So we can't ascertain at this stage if the project is a PVE co-op or a PvP game. It's a looter shooter.
that's probably what it is.
It is. It is. Yeah. This won't be Sucker Punch first foray into multiplayer games, of course. Ghost of Tsushima had a co-op multiplayer mode in the form of Legends, which was added not long after launch. As for as for as for if this new project is a Tsushima multiplayer game, Sucker Punch had recently advertised for a writer with a desire to write stories set in feudal Japan. So by those two people are or at least these people are kind of inferring that maybe this could be like not an expansion but its own thing, kind of like a Tsushima type multiplayer game on its own. I heard nothing but good things about Legends, so
Yeah,
I'll be interested in seeing what they do here. They
agreed.
did very well with Ghost of Tsushima, so why not give them a chance? Yeah,
I 100% agree for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Now, if it's gonna be player competitive, then that's not for me. That's what I meant when I joked at the beginning of multiplayer games not being spectacular. Of course they are. Of course they are. I'm just not a big fan of competitive because I am not competitive. So sorry.
I hear you. I'm the same way. My last piece is more of a news of the weird, maybe. Netflix and Legendary are developing a live action movie based on the Gundam franchise. With director
Right.
Jordan Vogt Roberts of Kong Skull Island and comic book writer Brian Vaughn of the saga Why the Last Man on board to adapt. Netflix announced the project on Monday, but said that the story for the live action Gundam film is being kept under wraps. If you're familiar with the Gundam series, you know that this is a mech anime. So to hear about it as a live action, thinking recently of, Godzilla versus Kong and, the Pacific Rim. And I'm like, I can get down with this.
Yeah,
what I mean?
it works.
I'm all right with that. So yeah, that's it. News of the weird. My last piece.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. That was my last piece also. So
Oh,
we're ready for the
awesome.
next segment.
All right. So we'll be right back, guys, with our hot topic.
Hot topic.
But guys, yes, but guys.
Podcast. That's what.
Although, guys,
Although,
however, guys. Oh, that we like that. Like, however,
Whatever happened to welcome back, guys?
I don't know. You always, I don't know. You always make it sound like I'm saying we're bad. So I'm like, I don't want to say that.
When we say we're bad, we're bad guys.
Yeah.
I'm I'm not a bad guy. I play.
So instead, I went with butt guys. That's even worse.
We're butt guys.
Oh, speak for yourself, my friend. I will be a however guy. How about that?
I will be an asshole.
Well said, sir. Well said. And you know what? I'll join you. I'll be an asshole as well.
There you go.
We are
you'll
back.
be more like a rectum, I will say. Because you're a little bit more sophisticated.
Wow, we're gonna go that far? Yeah, I guess so. Sounds worse for some reason, but okay.
Rectum sounds medical.
It's not to me. It sounds pretty worse. I think I'd rather just be an asshole.
Be the asshole then.
Yeah. I think we'll stick with that.
It's like I'm surrounded by assholes.
I know. It's better than being surrounded by rectums. Just saying.
Is it?
Yeah. I don't know how we got onto this, but guys, we are here to talk about the hot topic of the week, which I have already forgotten because of all the rectum talk.
Don't worry. You're going to remember it's about assholes. Sony's turning into an asshole.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Thank you.
There you go.
For reminding me.
It brought it back.
Yeah, it sure did. What is the deal with Sony? And so what we're trying to essentially go over here is the amount of fuck ups that I've been having left and right. I mean, I don't know if you would agree, but I'm gonna do a high level
Sure if I agree with calling it fuck ups. I mean, if anything, there are questionable moves, but I don't think they have particularly fail into something, which is what I would call a fuck up.
Okay.
Cyberpunk 2077 was a fuck up of major proportions, even though it made a lot of money, but it destroyed the reputation of the company.
Okay, so well, let's put a pin in that as far as whether it's a fuck up or not, because the reality is I don't know if it's a fuck up. It looks like a fuck up though. It looks like a real misstep in their part. Maybe that's the better word, a misstep. We'll go with that, a misstep.
Stanank.
So
let's call it a stanank.
Yeah. So very recently, so what we're trying to get at here, guys, is we all know the console war between Xbox and Sony, and we know as always, one side's pushing for them, and the other side. It's this consistent thing where it's like, guys, in the end, we're all fucking gamers. Let's get it together. However, we all have our camps, right? The one that you basically support most of the time. And for the longest time, I've been, a supporter and a buyer of Sony products. I like what they do. I enjoy their games. I enjoy a lot of things, beyond the really big mess ups that they've done throughout their history with $599. Believe it or not, we are exactly 3 days away, 4/20/2011. Do you remember what happened that day?
Sony told me that I needed to get another job so I can afford a PlayStation 3.
No, that was way earlier.
Okay.
April 20th, 2011 was, and this year, this 3 days from now marks the 10-year anniversary of the PlayStation outage.
Oh,
PlayStation Network outage. Yeah.
Now that was a fuck up.
Yes, it was.
That was the quintessential definition of. Actually, I think that's when the term got invented.
Yeah. Before that, it was just a screw up.
Yes.
So if you guys remember that was pretty bad, and the network was down for 25 days, if I remember, basically almost a month. Think about that for a second. Think about if any service you can think of, if it were down for 25 days, what would happen?
It'll be out of business.
Can you imagine YouTube going down for 25 days? It's impossible. Yeah.
Facebook?
It's like, no, that's never going to happen. So, 25 days it went down. And so I just wanted to bring that up because I find it a little bit weird and a little bit foreshadowing maybe just, of what's going on. So anyway, to start from the beginning, I don't even know where to start. I'm just gonna go through some of the stuff that has happened very recently. Um, I'm sure you've heard of the Japan Studios restructure, which happened,
Mm.
and of course, that led to a pretty mass exodus. I have a couple articles here. I'm just gonna quickly go through some of the stuff. Many are mourning the downsizing of Sony's Japan Studios, which was responsible for creating beloved classics such as Ape Escape, Parappa the Rapper, Tokyo Jungle, Gravity Rush. Technically, the studio isn't being closed, but instead is being reorganized around the existing team, Asobi. Of course, this choice has led many storied, developers in that particular group to
Mm.
leave. Now, that's not in itself a bad thing, right? I mean, we can agree. Hey, they're making a
Restructurings
business
are, I
decision.
mean, they're regrettable, but they happen. They and some and I would say that it's usually a byproduct of the recent performance. That's usually what leads a company to make the decision to, well, let's actually switch things around because
Yeah.
the status quo is not working,
It's
obviously.
not, yeah, you're not meeting the
Unfortunately.
standards. We have other teams that are delivering. And if just the sound of that sounds very corporate America. We have another team that are delivering, plenty famously, what's his name? Fucking Colin Moriarty of back then. I think he was on PlayStation Beyond at that point. Um, the Beyond podcast. And famously he said in the time that it took to have oh god, what is the name of the
The Last
freaking
Guardian.
the Last Guardian? The time it took to have the Last Guardian, you had four Uncharted games.
Yeah,
It is
all of them selling gangbusters
yeah,
like
exactly.
crazy.
So, I mean,
Wow.
you look at that, you go, well, I get it.
That's a high save. Yeah, it's like you could, you may not agree with it, but you understand
Yeah,
at that
I
point.
guess
It's
I
like,
kind of
yeah,
get it. Yeah. Okay, so of course you had that, and again, the loss of some, and who knows, they may set up some sort of indie studio, which would be excellent. I would buy into anything they do. But anyway, the more recent one, which is really really funny, they announced the closure of PlayStation 3, PlayStation Vita, and PlayStation P stores. Now, the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Portable, I guess I can understand. Those are much older consoles, and I guess at some point you have to have the end of the life. The one that catches a lot of people off guard, and I'm not a PlayStation Vita user, but there are developers that are making games for the PlayStation Vita who got greenlit to do stuff very recently, and they have now until July to release that. And by the way,
multi-platform or
yeah,
bring it to PlayStation 5 or
or do something, yeah. And who knows, the development cost behind that to have now ported over, and you haven't made anything from your Vita
absolutely
for
no,
your Vita
absolutely,
sales.
yeah.
So that's kind of a slap in the face. And I have to go back. If you really think of like the PlayStation, early PlayStation 4, it was about the indies. It was about the smaller titles. They would actually showcase indie titles on their press conferences. And now it's just like they're just these. Who gives a shit about these guys? We're all about the big fucking titles now.
Yeah.
So to me, and I guess you could. I guess I'm going to throw this question over to you.
Mm.
To me, it just feels like they're getting very corporate again, very similar to the way they were in early PlayStation 3. Do you see
Yeah.
that at all? Do you notice this at all? Am I wrong? Am I reading the tea leaves wrong?
Well, no, because so far, I mean, these aren't things on a tea leaf. This is actually things that have happened. You're seeing the action that I don't want to call it new management because uh, what's his name? Jim Bryan uh, is certainly not a newbie when it comes to Sony. I mean, he has been there since what? Since the PlayStation. two maybe, or since
He's
original
been there for
PlayStation.
some time. Yeah, yeah, he's been there. Let me see if I can get. Go
Yeah,
ahead. I'll see if I can get
the,
some
the
timeline
thing
on
is
him.
that he has been with Sony throughout all these years. I think he was in charge of something in Europe. I don't remember what it was, but he has been there to the ups and downs, right? Um, and and what you're looking at here is a strategy that, like it or not, does not necessarily reflect the doesn't seem to look like the original strategy of his predecessor,
Hmm.
um, which was that tagline of for the
For the
players,
players, yeah.
and being allowed to experiment, to have a lot of experiment projects, and a lot of fun ideas, like the iToy, and like PSP. I will argue that is probably one of them as well. And and this thing that he's doing now, he's basically shifting his strategy uh, towards having a major emphasis on blockbuster titles, uh, that the ones that are usually a total hit with critics and fans. Obviously, that your Naughty Dog camp. It's right front and center in there.
Hmm.
I think Naughty Dog is one of the most valuable uh, studios, if not the most valuable studio that Sony has as its current stable
Yeah, it's a
of a
crown
lot
jewel
of
for sure. Hmm.
of a lot of knowledgeable and talented studios. But what happens when you have a focus on those type of titles? Titles that where you can he's where he says guaranteed success. Um, I'm paraphrasing, of course,
Of
but
course, yeah.
but that sets a dangerous precedent, because, like I said, you don't have a way of, first of all, supporting the indies like PlayStation used to do a lot. So you won't see stuff like Gravity Rush, for example, or you won't see or you won't see stuff like that Tokyo, was it?
Which the yeah, I know what you're talking about. Shit, I already
Something
closed the thing.
something
Yeah,
Tokyo, The Last Guy, those type of games, you're probably not gonna get a lot of those. And yeah, it sounds like, well, I don't care about those games anyway. I just want all my games to be Uncharted and Last of Us. But in reality, like, do you? You gotta be careful, because that one that how do you call it?
I mean, we can call
Narrow
it
vision.
yeah, tunnel vision. I was gonna say yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That tunnel vision, that narrow vision of just focusing on the blockbusters. Of course, we'll know not all the games are gonna end up, being blockbusters. Uh, and if you seem to recall, there was a time where, like, Microsoft is a perfect example, where they were trying to do was just try to work out their titles that used to sell well around the time, but now people were getting kind of sick and tired of them. Halo
And
says hi,
you
and Gears
nailed
of
it, bro.
War, and
You
yeah.
nailed it on the head. It was Xbox that started saying we just need the tentpole titles. We can have everybody else fill in the gaps.
Mhm.
And how did that work out for them during the Xbox One era?
Terribly, because they started
Uh,
doing the same thing. They started closing studios and
yeah,
and and, and
Lionhead
leaving stuff, and
Studios. Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and what did they end up having? Now they're having to, like, buy studios back, because obviously
Because it
they
comes
don't
down to
have.
that. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Now I will give Sony this much to say, well, they're not closing down these studios. You know what I mean? They're just shifting
I
focus.
mean,
Like
they're
the studios
shifting
are remaining.
people.
Yeah,
They're shifting people. The studios are no longer there. And just like I said, when you close a studio, like, well, you shift a studio around that much, the talent is gonna just go elsewhere. Like it's happened with Sony, with Sony of Japan. You
Yeah.
know, so you're starting downsizing studios that aren't producing like critical hits, and and that's yeah, that's what happened to Japan Studio, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Uh, the other thing that concerns me is that he also has kind of like a vision, kind of like an emphasis on Western development developers and audiences, and that concerns me because
It
like we
does.
have that we love the the games that come out of Japan. You know, we love that, and I mean like the legitimately, you know, Japanese market games, uh, not games that are made by Japanese studios, but they are inherently a shooter. You know, or not to say that all games developed for the Western market are just shooters, and not
No,
trying to
but I mean
minimize
that's
that.
yeah,
But let's be
that's
real.
the
I mean,
genre that sells.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that's what it comes
yeah,
down to. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Or you have the,
Or
you
action
know,
games, right?
because
Third person action games.
we
You
already
know.
have Western, Western developers that could. I mean, hello, you own Naughty Dog. Let them do their, their thing. Uh, Also, let them new things. Don't make a Last of Us 3, because the way it sounds, it's like you're already planning for something like that. You're already planning on another Uncharted, even though you know the Uncharted 4 was supposed to be the closing. Well, you're not announcing those titles, but you're announcing like remasters of like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
I don't.
That's you brought that up, and I'm glad you brought that up because that was the other thing. It's like so the focus seems to be on the bigger titles, but for some reason, the bigger titles that are being floated around are remakes of the Uncharted game,
Mhm.
which got shelved, let's say, but now a remake of the Last of Us game, the first Last of Us,
Which was
which is
remade
on
already
yeah, it's
or
a
remastered.
remastered on PlayStation 4. So by extension, you can play it on PlayStation 5 already. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So why is any resources going to that?
because it's an easy
That's
cash in. Because people
yeah,
will
but
buy it.
I don't know, dude. I feel like I mean I guess it's cheaper to do.
It's definitely cheaper to
You
make.
know what I
Because
mean?
the
But
asset.
that's not, man. That's what I'm trying to say. This is the type of focus where I'm like, you are focusing on the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying?
You're
People
becoming an
want.
Activision here,
Yes,
almost.
exactly. Oh my God, nailed it, bro. You're becoming an Activision where it's like we're gonna take what the products that we have
Mhm.
and run them to the ground, and then we'll develop some other
Repackage them.
products and then run them to the ground as well. You know what I mean? Because that's where the money's at,
Yeah.
and that is where. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think this is. So I guess I should probably say this, but I don't think Sony's gonna suddenly, sink and fall because of this.
No,
No, I think Sony's gonna be fine. It's just
Xbox didn't.
the yeah, exactly. So and I think Xbox is going to be fine too. But the direction they're going is a scary direction. You know what I mean? When you
Yeah.
think about when you go back to the early days of the PlayStation 4, where you had a bunch of small indie titles that were helping your year one of the console. With games like fucking I don't know, Transistor, Guacamele, Resogun, which is actually an exclusive.
Yeah.
These are smaller titles that they showcased, and you know what? It brought people to the console. You know what I mean? And then when you started delivering the top tier, now you had people who were like, "Yes, this is what I was here for." And I don't know, dude. It just seals. So this is a conspiracy theory in me. So don't grain of salt on all this, guys. But I think it all started in 2019 with first the departure of Sean Layden, who was obviously success by Jim Ryan. Sean Layden was a face of the company and a lot of PlayStation experience when they were doing those,
Mhm.
whenever they were at E3. So
He
it's
was a real
funny,
gamer, right?
and he's a gamer, absolutely.
He is a gamer, yeah.
Oh well,
Which
yeah,
the
yeah.
same
He's a,
cannot be
he's
said about Jim Bryan.
no, no, not at all. And here's the difference. When you look at, so very recently, or rather, let's just go back. Sean Layden What did he love to do in any of the press conferences? He loved to wear a shirt or something that he wouldn't even refer, and he wouldn't talk about. He wouldn't do anything, but it was just a shirt. And later on, they're like, "So what's the shirt about? What's this with Crash Bandicoot? Is that coming back? Is it coming back? Tell us, is it coming back?" You know what I mean? It became this thing that people talked about, but he loved to do it because he loved to tease. Well, guess who's doing that now? Phil Spencer. Phil Spencer had an object or something in a recent interview that was a Kojima thing. And now you have rumors of the Kojima game.
Oh, Phil Spencer, excellent. Yeah, no, dude,
Yeah.
that guy has always done that shit.
I know what I'm saying, but it's like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, it's true that it is not new to him, but
Yeah.
they still have somebody like that.
Yes.
Jim Ryan doesn't do that. Jim Ryan isn't a gamer. He's not connected to any of these things. He's that businessman. And that's what fucking worries me. And Sean Layden, when he got let go, apparently he got let go, you know, like amidst some sort of reconstructing of the company. And apparently there was like rumors of like a struggle. Yeah, power struggle. Yeah. So I mean, these are all rumors, obviously. So, and then of course, the only thing you ever got from him when we found out was a tweet. I'm like, what? When Reggie Fils-Aimé left Nintendo, we had like a bunch of shit for Sean Layden, who helped move the company into the right direction. He got a fucking tweet. You know what I mean? It was like, are you kidding me? So that alone speaks volumes, right? So that was, let me see, when was that? That was October of 2019. November of 2019. Okay. Shuhei Yoshida, the Shu, is no longer the head of Worldwide Studios. So, and he was there since 2008. He got replaced by the Guerrilla Game Studio, Herman Hulst.
Yes.
And so, again, conspiracy theory here, guys. I'm just saying. When you start looking at these two major pieces, and let's be real, who cannot forget the E3 2013, where Shuhei Yoshida shows you how you share games on PlayStation 4. Okay. I mean, that is absolute, that was just memorable.
That was the vibrant, the vibrant PlayStation. It almost made them, even though there clearly are not underdogs, it almost made them feel like that. You were rooting for, if only because the suits at Microsoft around that time were deciding to make their console like, oh, let's make this our attack vector where we can actually pump these suckers with ads and programming like Netflix. Like, we want to be Netflix, and I don't know what the hell else. The visions of let's mix games with movies because that makes fucking sense, and TV. And in the meantime, and more Halo, because apparently you didn't really finish the fight when we told you that to finish the fight. There was more fight actually.
Yeah,
and
it always continues.
Yeah, and all that crap. And now it's starting to feel like the opposite is happening here. We got rid of the quote unquote the fun, the people that have lived and breathed that PlayStation spirit. And again, Jim Ryan has been in PlayStation forever, so it's not taking anything. But he is not.
He's not.
He doesn't look like he's that type of that type of CEO.
It's been like literally said. Not granted, it's said in like Bloomberg articles and people who don't want to say their name, but they're in Sony the camp saying no, he's not. He's a businessman. He has no connection to it. And again, grain of salt. They could just be pissed off employees, but usually if you're anonymous, why would you not just tell the truth? What I mean? So,
I just don't believe in because you have businessman. Obviously, you want a person that knows business. That goes without saying. However, you could have a businessman in the sense of Bobby Kotick. Right? He is a businessman. There's no doubt about it. He delivers to a group that I don't want to sound insulting or anything like that, obviously, but it's gonna come out like that. So just, I apologize. It's almost like a zombified group that will always get. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they're regurgitating the same thing. They get they get the same game, or they just don't care about any other type of gaming enough because hey, this is the one thing that I'm good at, gaming wise. So and this is the thing that brings that I like that is fun to me. That you can't blame that. Okay, that's fine. So, but you're doing that to those group of people. Um, you're not really you're not really breaking any ground on anything else. You know, there's no you monetize those people to hell. That's how you bring you keep raking in money, but you're not innovating in any way on
Nope.
anything. Like
Innovating.
there's hard to be excited about. What was the last Activision game that you got excited about? You know, um,
The last one
and
that I was excited about was Sekiro. That was the last one, and that's
yeah,
because it was published by them. It wasn't created by them. It was
and that almost it's and that's almost sounds crazy. Like that felt like an accident. Like they just stumbled upon or got accepted by Activision because they saw the opportunity, but to make money of it, but not necessarily because they care anything
no,
for
not at all.
this.
No.
Like there's
Matter
no
of fact,
there's that passion's not there.
correct. Matter of fact, I remember correctly. They were looking for a Tenchu remake. That was actually the original intent.
That's what they want exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
to go
Original
back to
intent.
Tenchu.
Yeah,
Hey,
and so they went and I want to say I think From Software almost like pulled a fast one on them. You know, they just like, hey, yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, yeah, we'll do it. And then they just went with this. Hey, this is kind of the direction we went with, and
yeah.
and just said,
Well,
okay,
no,
yeah,
it could be. So
it's possible.
you can have a business map and you run the risk of going into that route, right? And you don't want Sony to be into that route because we God forbid
We
Sony
had that route.
goes back to this old ways of cocky Sony because that was never good for the consumer at the end of the day. The uh the other thing is that you want visionaries, you know, uh like say what you will. I'll give you an example. Say what you will about Apple. Fuck them. I hate them. But with Steve Jobs was at the helm, like
They were at the top of the world.
he was not only a visionary, because he was love it or hate it. Uh, but he was a good businessman as well. Like he knew how to deal with with all that and I feel like I feel like even the oh my goodness, you look at a company like Nintendo. Nintendo has had its ups and downs, you know, but you keep innovating. You have something like the Switch, you know,
Switch is a
that has
genius one. Yeah.
this the Switch was a genius move. Hell, the fucking Wii was a genius move. Too bad that it got mishandled by third parties. You know, there was no third party on it and whatever. But hey, you know,
In the end,
um,
yeah. I think Nintendo kind of fell into its role where it's like it's okay. They're gonna come to us for our first party and some of the
yeah,
some of the second and third. But yeah, you're not
yeah.
gonna get
But you're not gonna get
best
that
Call of
by
Duty there. Yeah.
close, yeah, and closing shop on a lot of like old um, developing developers that has been very successful in the past. Yeah, you want to weed out what's not working out. I get that the restructuring. I get it. Also, I don't want to
I do too.
make this into doom and gloom,
No, no,
thinking
no,
that
no.
this is
Yeah.
something that the Sony is. It's just seems to be a bad trend for a company that so far has been making nothing but great decisions, except for a bunch of little ones that have come out recently. That you're like, what's going on, Sony? You're not you're not the same Sony that I remember a couple of years back. You're
So
not one of the
yeah,
players anymore.
to round that out, here's a couple of the really really bad blunders recently,
Oh,
and so
the really bad ones. All right,
because
lay
not
them
only
on me.
yeah because not only are they bad for Sony, they also make their competitor look way better, and that's the worst part. The worst part is, it's one thing you make you make a mistake or a misstep, and you go, "Oh, that was not good for us." It's okay, we move on. It's another thing when you make a misstep, and now because of that misstep, it highlights why your competitor's better. Okay,
Yes.
so I'm sure you guys have heard this, but if you haven't, I'll go over it. The Marvel's Avengers PlayStation 5 save transfer mess. Maybe you've heard of this. Have you heard of this, Dreamy?
The safe
Save
the
transfers.
the safe transfer. No. I
Okay,
don't think.
so this is what you needed to do if you had a PlayStation 4 version of Marvel's Avengers. While you have that, hey, no judgment. But if you do have it and you're enjoying it and you wanted to transfer to the PlayStation 5 better version, right? So most people said, fuck this, I'm going to go download the PlayStation 5 version. I got the PlayStation 5. Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. It's great. Yeah, not so fast, my friend. You have to, most people, you delete one game so you can put the other game in. It's just, kind of logical, right?
Yeah.
Well, no. If you didn't upload to the cloud your save file, then you can't just transfer it. You have to upload the stuff so you now have to re-download the PlayStation 4 version so you can then upload that to the cloud, then take that off, then download the PlayStation 5 version, and then now reinstall that there. Data caps, to hell with them, right?
Damn.
Okay. So what does this do? First off, it is the messiest thing anyone has ever seen, but it also kind of backtracks on a little thing called smart delivery. Because it's like, sure, we heard it a lot, Xbox smart delivery and all this other stuff. We're like, oh, that's just a catchphrase. That's that marketing lingo, whatever. Now you look at it and you go, oh, so that's why that was important. You know what I mean? It's a smart delivery system. And why? Because fucking Microsoft knows software. They're like, hey, let's make this easy for them. And sure, I get it. Most people don't even know half of what I just talked about because they're like, I don't know what that means, whatever. But a lot of people do. And this is it's just a telling thing that again, highlighted how awesome smart delivery was, as much as we were making fun of it back in the day, because like, that's just some jargon they want to do. And then, of course, let's talk about MLB The Show 2021 coming to PlayStation 5, obviously, with no surprise there. And also coming to Xbox, which we kind of already knew because they were going to say that, but also coming to the Xbox Game Pass. So
Yep.
Not only is one of PlayStation's storied franchises, because they've held that for many years at this point. Not only is it crossing over to the other side of the pond is giving it to you for free on a service. And there have been tweets. I'm not sure if you've seen it. Some tweets and saw people at baseball games, because people still go. Thank God. COVID's coming to an end. Showing off ads of the Xbox, MLB The Show, Game Pass, all over the place. And guess what's not there? No ad for PlayStation. So that's my friend, to me, is a huge, error. You know what I mean?
Blunders.
Yes, the huge blunders. Like, and let me tell you, MLB and Xbox were like heartless. I don't know if you read anything of this, but Sony had like no choice. Okay. This is something it's like, you do this or we're just going to bring it to somebody else. We'll give it to EA, have them do, or Activision, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So not only you have that, you have, I mean, really think about it for a second. You have a PlayStation first party studio developing a game that's going to be free on Xbox. I mean, if that's not a slap in the face, I don't know what is. And I don't know, they had to have seen it coming, right? I don't know. I may be seeing stuff here that is, they look like blunders and all this stuff, but it just, when you add them all together, you just go, this last month and a half for Sony has been probably one of the worst since the launch of the PlayStation 3. And so,
Wow.
I mean, it's like, I don't understand. Oh, and by the way, guess what? We're still getting a remake of Last of Us 2. Last of Us, excuse me. Which,
Oh, right.
yeah,
Which nobody
because
needs
no one
necessarily
asked for.
because
Yeah,
it's Last of Us. You've already played it twice already.
I've played
Uh,
it at least 4 times to
yeah,
completion, and Left Behind. And yeah, I have no desire to go back to that game. You know what I mean? And I
right.
think everyone who wanted to play that game has already played that game.
Yeah.
I feel like it's already been
Why not make an
milled.
update? I mean, if you first of all, what is why isn't Naughty Dog working on a separate IP? You know, whatever they decide to go, whichever route, you know that it's very probably gonna be amazing
Yeah,
because it's Naughty Dog. They know how to code for that, for that system. You know, also, and I realize that this benefits me. Well, not me, in reality, because I own a PlayStation, but I prefer to play games on PC to take advantage of the performance. Uh, what exactly you doing? Bringing your games to the PC? I mean, it makes sense from a business point, and
yeah,
and
yeah.
and
I
again,
was
I
saying,
appreciate it. I mean, that's
and
certainly
it's
what
also
Microsoft is doing.
yeah, it's also
Uh,
titles that have kind of reached their max that you're gonna have on the console. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
the max that you're gonna
but
get out of it. I can see that.
according to the plan to Jim Ryan's plans, it looks like that might be less the case.
Yeah, yeah.
Suddenly. And what are you gonna do? Release the next Naughty Dog title on a day and date on PC and PlayStation? That'll be awesome to me, but it's
That
certainly
would be
gonna.
fine with
It's
me. Yeah,
not.
I wouldn't care about that.
I mean,
But
it'll no. Like what I'm saying is like
I know what you mean, though. Yeah, yeah.
this isn't the Sony. This is the Sony that its enthusiasts like to protect.
Hmm.
The this is a Sony that is more. It's less about the just the brand in
It's less
itself
about the
and the
creativity.
image, and more like let's just make money
Yeah,
whichever way.
it's less about the creativity. It's less
Yeah.
about the new little things. But I mean, you really go back. That's a funny thing. I always felt that Sony was, when you really go back to PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, they were the console where just you had so many of these weird oddball games alongside your major blockbusters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With just games that didn't make any sense. Like, I don't even know why. Where was the bouncer? What happened to that? It's like, I don't even remember if it was good or not at this point, but it was a game. They made it, they supported, and they showed the shit out of it when it was coming, before it was coming out. You go back to PlayStation 1. Think of Siphon Filter. Think of all the crazy
Yeah.
PlayStation 1 games that you had. And it's just like, man, where did those freaking Bushido Blade? Where all these weird things? Bushido Blade, I don't think even would
So
work
calm.
today. Yeah, it wouldn't even work. Yeah, yeah, yeah. SOCOM, for the record, fell. The last SOCOM fell victim of the freaking PSN outage because the game came out 2 days before the network went down.
Oh,
It
jeez,
spent
wow.
25 days not being played.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah. That
that game
was,
got
I
massacred.
felt so bad for that game. But so yeah, it's just, so I guess what I'm trying to get at in the end here, to sort of wrap it up, is to say I definitely don't think it's doom and gloom. Obviously, when you're making business decisions for a company that's going to make the company money and have them last longer and all, those things are going to work out, but they can come at the expense of true creativity. And I feel that, not that creativity can't come to PlayStation, because it will come in the form of indies and third parties and stuff like that, but I felt like they were a part of cultivating that. And yes, you have Shuhei Yoshida still with the company, for the record, and he's part of a team that does that, that goes out and sort of cherry picks a lot of indies. But the reality is, I saw the most recent showing of these particular of the ones that they have that are going to be, I guess, for at least a while exclusive on PlayStation, they're not the best looking ones. And the reason for that is because the best looking ones are realizing, yeah, we don't have to be on one console. We don't have to be and so it's like, I don't know, dude. I just feel like they're going to, it just feels different. I guess it just really, really feels different. And just the thought of them spending so much time on figuring out, are we going to do an Uncharted sequel or Last of Us? It's like, who is in this boardroom that I know so I can go slap them and go, dude, nobody's asking for this shit. Go focus on something new. Sony Ben, which is the one who did the motorcycle game, I can think of a name right now, but Days Gone, Days Gone, yeah. They were almost, or at least that's what they feel based on a Bloom report. They were almost like absorbed by the Naughty Dog team. And at some point they went to the heads and say, we don't want to work on this anymore. We want to work on something else. And then we're given, the opportunity to go ahead and work on something else. And because they were working on The Last of Us 2 or The Last of Us remake, just like, we don't want to do this. And the pitch for Days Gone 2, obviously, now I don't blame the pitch for Days Gone 2 going badly. And it was like, okay, so obviously it didn't do well. Whatever you pitched them, I guess didn't work. You know what I mean? Yeah. You figure you have something else going on, but instead they were put on to an auxiliary project with Naughty Dog again. And it just feels like, I don't know, dude. It just feels really, I don't want to say toxic because toxic really leads to a different type of environment, but it doesn't feel like a very creative friendly environment. And I just feel
it looks like a very bottom line, just businessy, corporate-y. And that's worrisome for the reason that we have that we said.
That we mentioned, yeah, for sure. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. That brings us to the end of an awesome episode 259 of GG's The Mouthful Podcast. As always, guys, if this is your first time listening, please like, subscribe, share the podcast with all your friends, and of course, make sure you go to goodgame.rocks, join the conversation there. I want to give a shout out here again once more to Mr. Dark. Want to make sure he's doing well. He's in our prayers, and I hope he gets well soon so we can get back online and take on something. Hell, I just jump into Monster Hunter with him, so I can have him with him there. You know what I mean? Because I want nothing but the best for that guy. So this is Mad Dog signing off this week, saying. Nothing. Just be good.
Stay in school, fool. Don't do drugs. I'm Mr. T.
Wow. Going back.
I need work.
Okay. Mr. Dream Twister, take us home.
I already did, fool.
What else do I have to say, son of a bitch?
Give me something to do. I need work. I'm Mr. T. I don't know why I sound like that.
I was just like, this is actually getting fascinating. I'm not sure where you're getting this from, but I like it. All right, guys. Well, I guess we'll see you next week.
GG!